All right, a couple minutes late. That's all right. We're here. We exist. We live in a society. That's what I've heard. If you're watching the stream after I've gone live on either YouTube or Twitch, hello. We're live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. But we also do other streams like cooking and playing video games and other stuff. Um, uh, What's up, everybody? Here people are. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see everyone. Gabby, hello. I see you down there. Bailey, Megan, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Kayla, hello. One of the first people in here. Kayla, always a pleasure. Really excited for a good stream today. Autumn, hello, 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 everybody. Fantastic to see you. What's good? Not much, brother. How are you? Great to see everybody. I'm doing eating chicken nuggets. I love that. Doing a little bit, doing better actually. Doing better. We're hanging in there. Feeling good. Excited for a good weekend. Happy Friday. That's right. Happy Friday. It's really great. Oh my goodness, Layla, thank you for subscribing at tier 1. Can I get a million W's for Layla in the chat? Always giving us the best edits. I love you. You are the best. W's, glad. Yes, feeling a little bit better, getting in the swing of things. Bo, thank you for subscribing for 1 month at tier 1. Also, if you're here on YouTube, can I get a million W's for Bo in the chat? Bo, I really appreciate you. Goes a long way. Yay, glad I subscribed. I'm glad you're here. You fucking rock. If you're on the YouTube side of things, the chat is from twitch.tv. I think people prefer to watch the lives after on YouTube. You're more than welcome to switch over to Twitch, or you can stay on YouTube, but I do see your chat. It's just not on the screen. Theo, what's up? Olive, what's up? Daniel, what's going on? And last name Blake, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Great to see everybody. Like I said, 241 people in here is insane. Miller, hello. How are you? Max, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. Ria Raya, always a pleasure. Hannah, Kayla, go follow this king. You're too kind. My socials are up there. So good to see everyone. Again, we are live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. Central, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about politics. And today, I think we have some good stuff in store. So we're going to talk for just a minute or two, and then we're going to go talk about some politics. We're going to talk about some of the fallout from the USAID freeze and some of the things you may have not heard about around that. That's very fascinating. We're going to talk about the fact that because of Trump's tariffs, the markets are a little bit struggling, up and down, I'd say, to say the least, considering, markets were very confident going in toward the election, and now, teetering on the edge of concern, as today we're down again in the markets, unfortunately. And lastly, we're going to watch Trump's press conference that he held just an hour or two ago with the Japanese prime minister, I believe, that I have not reacted to or watched, but I would like to check out. So that's the plan for today. Again, we are locked in. That's right. Happy birthday, Haley. That's right. I thought, well, I guess it's Friday. You told me after midnight, so a million W's for Haley in the chat. I got to surprise you on your birthday. Or on your birthday celebration, but I guess today's officially your birthday. So I hope you're doing something fun, Haley. Much love. We got to pull out the shirt in just a bit as well. Kendi, good to see you. Ria Raya, Lulu's here. Lulu, what's going on? Good to see you, Victoria. Always a pleasure. So should we hop into the political arena here? Is that what we should do? Because the federal government is finally being audited. Yeah, so the federal government already has a mechanism for that. There's already an agency for that. The issue is actually not that it's, quote, being audited. The issue is that the way it's being done is blatantly unconstitutional, and ripping apart federal funding or just dismantling agencies very clearly needs to go through Congress. And federal judges have called things like the federal freeze blatantly unconstitutional, struck it down, and the executive branch continues to do it, which is putting us in constitutional crisis because Trump only cares about himself, and he appointed a bunch of people who only care about themselves, like Elon Musk. So that's part of the problem. Again, like, I think that, like, the argument from conservatives, I always find it really hilarious to the person in the chat. It's always really funny to watch people say, oh, well, what's wrong with the government finally being audited, or what's wrong with, us knowing where our tax dollars go. Again, it obviously shows why you voted for Trump. Because you don't understand like anything around the Constitution. That's why you voted for a guy who tried to overthrow an election he didn't win with evidence he didn't win it. But yeah, the way it's being done is blatantly unconstitutional and is thrusting us into constitutional crisis. You don't barely know the three branches of government, so I understand. Um, can you? Yeah. So yeah, it's not about, again, it's not about auditing. It's about the fact that like they're already ripping apart federal funding where they feel, freezing federal funding, which they cannot do, and then obviously we're talking about signing executive orders, just eliminating three-letter agencies, and again, cannot do that. And the work that they have done that's been ruled unconstitutional by federal judges, their federal judges are now saying, "Hey, we're having concerns because the executive branch is not listening to the judicial branch. You are not you are not." When we've ruled, something like freezing federal funding unconstitutional, the funds are still frozen. And when the executive branch ignores the judicial branch, we call that constitutional crisis. Because, there's nothing stopping. If the Supreme Court were to rule on something tomorrow and Trump just told his executive branch, enforce the law anyway, I don't care what they say, he can do that. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. It just thrusts us in constitutional crisis. Anyways, let's go a little bit into politics. Again, amazing to see everyone. Can we plan a Project 2025 talk for a stream? Yeah, I'm totally down to that. Meg, it's good to see you. Do you know if Medicaid is going to be affected? Unclear at this time. You assume that like Trump doesn't have that much political capital to play with, and it's going to be, a really big it's going to be very scandalous if veterans aren't getting healthcare and people aren't getting payments from things like Medicaid. So I would assume no, but this is we're in uncharted territory here. We will see. But Meg, I'm proud of you and I hope you're doing well. W Discord, that's right. The Discord link is up there, pinned at the top. Kayla, I appreciate you so fucking much. Hi Chelsea, how are you? It's good to see you. All right, let's hop into some of this, shall we? We shall. So, quickly, news is news. Our allies and other people around the world are obviously concerned about tariffs, which we're going to talk about relating to the market here in just a second. Musk is going on an entire tirade. He's tweeting 1,000 times a day. He's a horrible human being. I think you kind of understand the gist around this, and it's unconstitutional and gross. And Time Magazine, put Elon Musk behind the Oval Office desk in their most recent thing right here, which is, obviously going to get under Trump's skin. Brilliant work by Time, because he's a narcissist. And so, in relation to that, confusion reigns and stock sinks as Trump announces more tariffs. Trump said today that he will announce new so-called reciprocal tariffs next week, perhaps fulfilling a campaign pledge and a long-held desire to match foreign countries' import tax dollar for dollar, blah, 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 blah. The statement shook financial markets. Although Trump's 10% tariffs on China went into effect on Tuesday, so we are going to see prices probably rise a little bit in relation to that. The markets, again, the Dow being down 1%, 444 points. That's a pretty tough day from the on the market front. I'm sure the S&P 500 was something similar. Almost a percentage, down 57 points. And so again, you're watching. Caitlin, thank you so much for resubscribing for 6 months at Tier 1. And Lorena resubscribing. Can I get $1 million for both Lorena and Kate? It really, really goes a long way to support the stream. I absolutely love you both to death. We're 598 subscribers. That's crazy. You guys are insane. I appreciate you. If you do have Amazon Prime, you do get a free subscription over here on Twitch. Just so you know, and again, if you're on the YouTube side, the chat here is from Twitch, and I appreciate you being here. Oh my goodness. Wow, holy fucking shit. As I'm speaking that, Avi MCC gifts 25 community subs here on Twitch. Holy fucking shit, Avi. That goes an incredibly long way. And is insanely generous. That is fucking crazy, Abby. From the bottom of my heart, I really, really, really appreciate you. And like I said, it just goes an incredibly long way to support the stream. That is, wow. That is insane. Can I get so many fucking W's for Abby in the chat? Abby, I really, 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 from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. That is crazy. That is insane. So some people in here now have subs. I love that. Abby, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Truly, I appreciate you a lot. That's insane, Abby. That is absolutely insane. We're at 623 subs now. So we've blown past 600. Congrats, everybody. That is crazy. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, it is never something I take for granted, ever, ever. Wow. Abby, thank you so much. Never take that for granted. That's crazy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Quickly, yeah, markets a little bit confused about what's going on with Trump. Again, very confident before we went into the election, and you know, I think that I think we're watching, you know, a lot of markets, a lot of hedge funds bet pretty heavily all of a sudden against the market, bet on a markets, you know, a collapse essentially, not collapse, but a downturn. As you know, you can obviously place calls and puts on. You can essentially bet in the stock market that a stock's going to go down and make money if it does. And we're watching. You know, you can see essentially a train. Is what they call that. You can see an options train, so you can see, you know, for the entire S&P 500, or for the S&P for SPY, which is the ETF around the S&P 500. You can watch how many people are betting either for it to go up or to go down, an options train, calls or puts. And what we're seeing now, all of a sudden, in a big reversal, is hedge funds, big banks, really pour a lot of money into puts, meaning they're betting that these markets are going to go down. In fact, there's about double the amount of puts right now, just in the overall market S&P 500 Dow, than there are calls, at least as of last week. And so, again, like really kind of concerning stuff, especially for just all of us. Right. I think that like a lot of times when I talk about politics, I'm not a marginalized group. You know, being a straight white male in America is not a hard thing. And I'm very blessed for that. So, you know, some of the things we talk about in relation to that or abortion don't directly touch me. But, you know, this touches everybody. You know, as I have like money sitting in the market and I'm trying to like save as a 23-year-old, this, you know, raises me to believe that maybe I should, you know, I'm concerned. So really, really not good. Also, fucking Kate, it is amazing to see you just gifted another 5 community subs. Can I get $1 million? $1 million, Jesus, sorry. Not $1 million. Can I get 1 million W's? I was reading a comment that had a dollar sign and can I get 1 million W's in the chat for Kate? I really, really fucking appreciate you. $1 million is not what I meant to say. I was reading a comment from YouTube that said, add the dollar feature next to the send button on YouTube so we can donate. Gina, you're extremely kind. I might be able to go in my settings and do that. But again, there's never any pressure to donate monetarily. Just you being here means the absolute world. And again, not $1 million. It's not monetary for me. I am so blessed that I've been able to like turn my passion into something monetary. But my first concern is always trying to be, you know, authentic and just give you guys my perspective on things as a 23-year-old fucking Gen Z moron. I love all of you from the bottom of my heart. Truly. Can I get 1 million W's again for Kate? It goes a super, super fucking long way. $1 million. That's right, Kylie. That's right. Someone get Mama Peach and Christian in here. We can't afford that. Excuse me. It was a mistake. I appreciate you guys a lot. You're not a moron. Emily, you're too kind. Well, love watching Tesla stock fall. I know. Those plastic fucking cars are so terrible. Such a terrible thing. Truly, I appreciate you guys so much. So with that being said, I'm actually curious because so with that being said, let's move, you know, with that news into this. This is fascinating. And I think it's you know, you talk about when you don't understand how government works, you talk about unintended consequence for things you do. And this would be, you know, a good example of that. Well, I don't know if it's unintended actually, because these people, you know, you never know with these fucking people. Give me 1 second here. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I've turned Super Chat on YouTube. I didn't even know I could do that. Well, you guys are incredibly fucking kind. I love all of you. The ends of the earth. Let me make sure we're still live on YouTube here, because I'm breaking my YouTube stuff. Thank you guys so much again for all the love. Caitlin, you're amazing. Chris, where do you get your information? Where would I find reliable political information? Yeah, I always recommend to people that, to start, because it's so overwhelming. I think podcasts are a really good place to start. Like, for example, I think NPR has like a daily warm up. It's like 5 minutes. Here's what you need to know today. Super simple, 5 minutes, and it touches kind of everything in the news world. I think that's always cool. Or like Politico, you can sign up for their emails. It's like it's like a morning email. It gives you like 5 bullet points, the need to know. And I think that like trying to always look like or trying to always like where do I start can be so overwhelming. If you just start with like something really broad, like an NPR 5 minute thing, it's like, okay, now I kind of have a general understanding of what's going on. And then you can take that and go to places, like CNN, Politico, AP is really down the middle. And kind of go about it that way. The way I do it, because I'm fucking a nerd, is, I'm just constantly, waking up. I'm waking up and immediately like checking Twitter. I'm just checking what's trending. Twitter sucks. But I like to know what like people are talking about, especially on the other side of the aisle, because it's a right wing. It's actually it's honestly just it's a horrible place. Like, it's not right wing. It's full of the most hateful, disgusting people. But I can understand at least that if that's going to be the current, who's leading the Republican Party, I can understand what they're talking about, understand the misinformation going around with something like USAID funding. And if there's something I don't understand, then, I think just being willing to like log on to, Google and just like type in a question, or log on to, even like I've shown the power of like something like ChatGPT, and just being able to say like, hey, I don't understand why this is a big deal. Maybe explain this to me. And it can like really help to, put things into perspective. And I think that like just starting with like any type of, hey, I'm going to scroll news today. I'm going to listen to an NPR podcast for 5 minutes, scroll news for 5 minutes, and that's it. And I don't have to worry about the news the rest of the day. And just doing that on repetition will start to build kind of like more understanding and knowledge around things quicker than you realize. So it doesn't have to be so overwhelming, especially, dude, I don't have any, there's nothing that makes me a savant, especially not when it comes to like retaining information. I've always talked about how I'm not a great I've never been a good school student. I didn't start, a fucking nonprofit. I'm not like, I don't have many, like of these like, oh, look at me accomplishments under my belt. I just, over time, you just like, I went from not, knowing nearly as much to like every single day, you just build information, and all of a sudden people say I know some things about politics, which I don't know if that's true or not, but Not Important. Thank you so much for gifting a community sub. Can I get a million W's for Not Important? It really goes a long way. It's good to see you. And Meg, subscribe for 2 months at tier 1 this minute. Or hi, chat and Chris. Megs, hello. A million W's for Megs and Not Important. Always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you guys so much again for being here. And again, on the YouTube side, the chat is from Twitch. You guys are amazing. You guys are all fucking amazing. So, let me really quickly. Yeah. So, in relation to something like USAID and pausing federal funding, when again they don't have the authority to do that, this is a consequence if you put like a Fox News host or people who have no concept of how to run government in government, they do shit like this. So you pause funding for everything. And what happens is there's a bunch of people right now around the globe and in America who are halfway through experimental treatments that they've signed up for. We have to do rounds of testing for medicine. And they may have experimental drugs in their bodies that all of a sudden they have no answers on. They can't continue the treatment if they have something, if they're in the middle of a test and they can't, through a treatment that's experimental, they can't continue that treatment, and no one will give them answers because people are being told, they're paused from work. And furthermore, prevention programs for tuberculosis, malaria, HIV cannot access funding, right? So this is from the New York Times a few days ago. In Uganda, the National Malaria Control Program has suspended spraying insecticide into village homes and ceased shipments of bed nets for distribution to pregnant women and young children, said the director's program. Dozens of clinical trials, let me make sure you can read this. Good. Dozens of clinical trials in South Asia, Africa, and Latin America have been suspended. Thousands of people enrolled in the studies have drugs, vaccines, and medical devices in their bodies, but no longer, sorry, I don't know why, but no longer, but no longer have access to continuing treatment or the researchers who were supervising their care. So again, Caleb, thank you so much for subscribing for 1 month. It really goes a long way, brother. I appreciate you. Can I get some W's for Caleb in the chat? I really, really appreciate that. So again, like, this is insane. Not only could you have a medical device in your body and not know what to do, but the researchers or the doctors who are doing this treatment, who you may have questions for, if you were halfway through an experimental treatment, they're not working, and they obviously want to be, but the federal government is threatening their job and saying, if you disobey our orders, you'll be fired, because authoritarianism and doing things that are generally unconstitutional, but also just have not been done before. We haven't seen a president try to hyper politicize 3-letter agencies. It's very dangerous. Nova, I appreciate you being here. No worries. I hope you have a good doctor's appointment. So look, someone in the chat said, I thought they just put a stay on shutting down USAID. Daniel, yes, or Danielle, I'm sorry, I believe. Yeah, so this is kind of like, again, when that's exactly right. But that's the problem, is we talk about like constitutional crisis, right? So they pause federal funding for everybody, and a federal judge immediately says, you don't have the executive authority to do that. That needs to be passed through Congress. I'm going to put a stay. It's been struck down. But all a judge is doing is issuing a piece of paper. There's no enforcement mechanism there. So the executive branch, Trump, Elon Musk, that branch is essentially just ignoring the ruling. And when the executive, ignores the judicial, it's constitutional crisis, right? The actual, I think that people have walked around with this perception that democracy is, or democratic norms, someone couldn't take over America because we have checks and balances, right? Checks and balances only work if the people in power actually want to respect those checks and balances. I think that Americans in general, especially my generation, have like taken for granted this idea. Like, our education system has failed us. We think that like democratic norms and checks and balances are like physical walls, but they're not, right? The only reason that Joe Biden respected the judicial branch when they would rule that something he did was unconstitutional is because he believes in checks and balances. He has a respect for the judicial, and he's not going to tell his executive, who's in charge of enforcing the law, he's not going to tell the executive branch, hey, just enforce the law anyways, I don't care. But when you have an executive, a chief in power, who just only cares about himself, and he selected people who also don't care about checks and balances, they only care about serving one man. You have the executive right now just continuing to enforce laws, even if the judicial has said they're unconstitutional. The last time we saw something similar was Andrew Jackson ignoring the Supreme Court around the Trail of Tears, and famously, Andrew Jackson said, well, I know what you ruled, but do me a favor, try and stop me. And he was right, because the judges have no enforcement mechanism. It's just a piece of paper. And again, you look at like people like me and Democrats have been warning about this, especially in relation to Trump's first term, where you had 40 of his 44 hand-selected cabinet members not endorse him, and a lot of them saying, I resigned, I refused to serve under this guy, or when, he told me to do things that were blatantly unconstitutional, that's when I put my hands up and went to the American public. And you say, well, wait a second, if he gets elected again and he now knows that people aren't going to just listen to his every whim because they listen to every order because they care about America. His top generals resigning and saying, he asked me to put him over the Constitution. I'm not going to do that. His vice president said that. But if he selects a bunch of people who are mainly just concerned with serving Trump, then they're willing to just, do things that are unconstitutional. So really, 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 really fucking dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. And so again, as we put as a federal judge has ruled that it's unconstitutional, As of right now, federal funding still appears to be paused. And in fact, this federal judge, I believe, also ruled the other day that, hey, I'm becoming increasingly concerned that the executive is not listening to my order, because they're not. So again, in interviews, more than 20 researchers and program managers described the upheaval in health systems in countries across the developing world. Most agreed to be interviewed on the condition that their names would not be published, fearing that speaking to a reporter would jeopardize any possibility that their projects might be able to reopen. Many of those interviewed broke down in tears as they described the rapid destruction of decades of work. The programs that have frozen or folded over the past 6 days supported frontline care for infectious disease, providing treatments and preventive measures to help avert millions of deaths from AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other diseases. They also presented a compassionate, generous image of the United States in countries where China has increasingly competed for influence. There will now be no one to take custody of millions of dollars worth of supplies for vital oxygen systems purchased for programs funded by USAID that support health clinics in some of the world's poorest countries. The shipments now in transit are scheduled to reach ports in the coming days, but employees of these programs have been ordered to stop work. So again, it's unbelievably tragic. Thousands of people have already lost their jobs as a result of the freeze in some countries from India to Zimbabwe. Staff members for United Projects were immediately fired. And again, it's terrible. It's absolutely horrible. I'm gonna make a couple TikTok videos about this today. We could make one on live. You could open the funding floodgates again tomorrow, and you would still have children dying for months from now because of this pause. A scientist said. That is a powerful quote. In fact, I'm gonna take a picture of that so I don't forget it. And again, when we talk about getting news, the New York Times, you have to subscribe for $3 a month, but this is some really, really powerful work that these reporters do. Not something that we would be able to even know about if the New York Times didn't do work like this. So, really, really fucking impressive. Bob, thank you so much for subscribing for 6 months at Tier 1. It really, 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 really goes a long way. Truly. Can I get some W's in the chat for Big Bob? Or it might be Bobber Cadabra. Jessica, thanks for resubscribing for 2 months. Holy shit, you're absolutely incredible. Lillian, really good to see you. Hope you're doing well. W's for Bob and Jessica in the chat. You guys are going insane. It really goes a long way. Thank you for letting us know all this stuff and keep us updated. I really appreciate it. Well, thank you for being here and watching 02. I appreciate you a lot. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Yeah, really, really just terrifying stuff. Just absolutely terrifying stuff. YouTube got 26 concurrent viewers. That's fucking dope. You guys I appreciate you being here. Withdraw. I feel for those individuals. I know, Gina. If no one steps up, everyone suffers. I know it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. So yeah, that's our Friday in America. We're gonna make some TikTok videos about this. As we, hope, the idea now is that if the executive is going to continue to not listen to the judicial, as we are in a constitutional crisis as I speak, I will reiterate this 100 times because 75% of America doesn't know. If there's a Democrat you want to understand this more from who actually has experience or in government, because obviously I don't. Chris Murphy is a senator who has done incredible work around this. I've always really liked Chris Murphy because he has always talked very openly and explicitly about his fears around Trump and fascism. And he has done a tremendous amount of work around this issue already. He's been working night shifts in Congress and basically posting that every single day, he's not letting up. And he's done some really good pressers about why this is an issue. So Chris Murphy would be a great place to go. Sorry, my chat. Did you see they denied members of Congress access to the DOE? I did. The Department of Education, again, you're just doing things that are just blatantly unconstitutional. Democrats and some, Democrats are finally starting to get their footing around what to do about this. There's people like Chris Murphy. But again, you're going to need, at this point, the enforcement mechanism comes down to Congress. And so you're going to need Republicans who have been loyal to Trump for 10 years to decide that they want to do something, which, right? Chris, please look at my last chat. Please, Ria rises. Resending. My professor was comparing Trump to the mustache man, and my professor is a Republican. That's when this set in about how scary it is. Yeah, no, it's I appreciate you mentioning that. Yeah, I mean, lifelong Republicans, the staunchest conservatives who are intelligent individuals, people I have a lot to learn from those individuals. Maybe they probably voted for Kamala Harris, but they've never voted for a Democrat in their life. Are very aware and on the same page of this as people like me. Because again, this is really bleeding. It has nothing to do at this point, and it hasn't for a while, with Republican or Democrat. It has everything to do with America versus, democracy versus fascism. The will of the people versus, an authoritarian. And, the more people that are aware, I think, in the coming months, the better shot we have of becoming increasingly confident in the push around this issue. And if we just continue to push and make our voices heard, there are good people in government. And I'm starting to have, as I've talked about, kind of spiraling around this idea and being, down myself mentally, because this is obviously fucking exhausting. Don't let a lot of Trump, Ezra Klein did a really, really good piece on this in the New York Times. The chaos is the point. Trump signing 200 executive orders and saying insane shit every day, flooding the media, it's always been the point. Because through the chaos, it appears as if Trump has power. And if everybody thinks that Trump has ultimate power, that he is the government, then he is, right? And he knows that. The Trump White House knows that. And so, you look at like even Trump in 2016 and 2020, Steve Bannon talking about flooding the zone. How do we beat the mainstream media? Well, we flood the zone. If you say a lie, if you just flood the American public with so much information they cannot keep up, the media will start to shut down and will win. And he said it out loud, and he's right. It's a similar concept to Goebbels, which was the mustache man's propaganda chief, who famously said wrote about the big lie. You tell a lie so outrageous, so ridiculous, enough times, over and over and over again, it will become the truth. And so, I think the more people that become aware of this, the more I realize that, like, wait a second, the chaos is the point. He wants to appear as if he has all this power, but he really doesn't. In some ways, he does. It's I think it is extremely concerning and should not be understated that we are in a constitutional crisis and something needs to be done. At the same time, the other kind of side of the coin is that there's a reason he signed 250, I don't know how many, executive orders. None of this is going through Congress, right? There's a reason that Congress has been doing nothing around legislation, around introducing bills, because Trump knows he doesn't have the political capital to pass any of this through Congress, and Trump constantly needs to look like a winner, right? He's a narcissist at the core. He cannot look like a loser in front of Congress. He can't introduce a bill into Congress and have Republicans saying, I'm not voting for this, failed. That makes him look weak. And Trump does not like to look weak. And if he can retain the perception of chaos and power, we all believe that he has this unlimited power. And so again, you look at like how this is operating. He's signing 1 billion executive orders and flooding the zone because he wants to appear, the chaos is the point. The more people that are aware of these, and again, I will say, detrimental things that are detrimental right now to America every single day, more people are aware of it, the more people are willing to push back and use their voice, the more that perception of strength is going to come crumbling down. And I think we can do it. I really do. I really do. Exactly, Dana. Exactly. Beautifully said. I'm really worried because I'm a queer person. I just want small, simple life with my partner and cats. First of all, I'm proud of you and I love you. And again, even though how was I going to phrase this? Again, first of all, I'm proud of you. One day at a time. There's enough people in America left and right, who are saying this is fucking too much. And I think I'm starting to, again, to be happy about the idea that I'm seeing people from all generations, all backgrounds saying, let people fucking be happy. I debate this every night on TikTok Live. As a straight white male myself, I'm very passionate about this issue because I talk to other dudes who are like, me, and bitching about this issue, bitching about, whatever, cultural war. And I say, what the fuck? This has nothing to do with you. Let people be happy. Let people do their thing. It doesn't affect you. It certainly doesn't affect me, right? If somebody wants to, I support, obviously, everybody just being happy and doing what they want. And I think that, like, when you start, you have to, like, break down the walls for some of these individuals where I say, wait a second, how does this, you're being fucking played and conned by a bunch of hateful, terrible people. You can focus on issues that don't matter to you, and they can go run all over the Constitution and enrich themselves while they're doing it. Like, people talk to me about something like the executive order on transports, on sports around trans people. And I'm like, okay, regardless of like the morality here and the actual debate, you're focused on this when you were complaining that Biden didn't help you because you couldn't afford groceries. Like, you're being conned. And I'll get angry and I'll be like, you're being conned because you're fucking stupid. And you have some amount of hate in your heart that you need to go work out because you're concerned about what other people do. But one day at a time. I'm proud of you. All right. Now to this. Donald Trump's press conference with the Japanese Prime Minister, which was 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago, maybe. 5 hours ago. Nice, Chris. Insanity, right? Insanity. Harper, thank you, Gina. Gina, W's Gina. I love Gina over here on YouTube. You're welcome. His comments are blank, just like his, yeah. I'm so glad, Dave, I'm so glad I found all these young men who speak the truth and honesty. It gives me some hope that I didn't have before, which makes me even angry. Dave, proud of you, Dave. Yeah, one day, again, you take some of this momentum. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm really learning the last few days. Fuck this. Fuck being fucking all down and, oh my God, that's what he wants you to be. You should be angry. That's the reality. You should feel this way. Take some of that anger and fucking push it toward motivation. Like, we're not going to fucking let this fucking orange fuck just break everything down. Every day, one day at a time, you do what you can. We got this. Now let's with that being said, let's listen to what this stupid orange fuck had to say. My Mac OS screen capture. Here we go. Rent free. We'll look at this. We have, you're going to let Orange Man do it because now those who supported them will put you all in check. That's authoritarianism, my friend. And if Trump wants to do that, or if Trump's executive wants to start putting, because again, like we also learned today, maybe we'll talk about it later, the FEC is investigating, Trump's people are investigating some local San Francisco radio station because they talked about immigration and they didn't like the way they talked about immigration. You're talking about free speech, and Trump's comments, maybe it hasn't resulted in action yet, but Trump's comments around he's willing to stifle free speech if it's what he doesn't like, if it's against him. So, my message to the freak in the chat is okay, bro, I'm waiting. You have to throw, people on Twitter are like, Trump's going to sue you for calling him a rapist. I'm like, Trump's a rapist. What are we doing here? You guys are so cringe, bro. 進むと思います。日本は素晴らしいパートナーですし、彼らもことがスムーズに進むことを期待していると思います。これが双方にとってです。Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk? タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
You can just tell how much that gets under his skin. You can tell. Especially with, the guy who's willing to say whatever, off the cut. He sat there, processed that anger, frustration, the narcissism. Fucking W time. W fucking time. I was saying for a few months before they made Trump the person of the year, they needed to make it Musk because it would just drive him nuts. And again, you could just see him process, and he's like, I didn't even know Ty was still in business. Look at me, I'm the president. Like, what a fucking narcissistic piece of shit. Can you guys hear this okay? Good, good. Audio is good. Thank you, Kayla. Appreciate you.
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and if everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID.
Try this bedtime trick to stop your partner snoring fast.
The biggest myth about snoring is when people say
That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events.
Is the audio fucked up for you guys though? Like, is it? I'll put captions on, but is it choppy, or is it not choppy? It's not. Okay.
Events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous, and we're going to be doing that throughout government, and I think we're going to be very close.
No, I think if it's hold on a second, because like the audio certainly doesn't seem. Let me just really quickly. I know you're like, what is going on?
Close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, but no, he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions, Mr. President, at any point? Will you put Elon Musk up on the podium for us to ask him some questions?
Oh, sure, he'll be. He's not shy. Elon's not shy.
Any further deliberations on Gaza, sir? The timetable for a takeover?
No deliberations. It's been very well received, where basically the United States would view it as a real estate transaction, where we'll be an investor in that part of the world, and no rush to do anything. We wouldn't need anybody there. It would be supplied and given to us by Israel. They'll watch it in terms of security. We're not talking about boots in the ground or anything, but I think the fact that we're there, that we have an investment there, I think would go a long way to creating peace. We don't want to see.
The audio is slightly fucked up. I understand. I understand it now. That's my bad. You know what? Actually, I think it is. Hold on.
Everybody move back and then move out in 10 years. This has been going on for 50 years, much more than that. We just want to see stability. That would be having us have that particular piece in that particular location, I think would show great stability and would lead to great stability in the area for very little money, very little price.
It's not the video. It's I just listened to it. I mean I just listened to it on Twitch. It's fucked up. Hold on. I can fix this quickly. Again, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you so fucking much. You guys are all amazing. Watch this.
Price, and we wouldn't need soldiers at all. That will be taken care of by others.
That's fascinating. I don't know why. Is there another audio source that's like? You know what it is? Actually, I know what it is. Hold on a second. I will fix this. I know, it's okay for you. I know, you guys can hear it fine. It's a little robotic. I listen to it, and it's going to annoy me enough to do something about it. And I know what it is. I actually do. 30 seconds, it's going to be fixed. Watch this. Because I'm so amazing. I'm not actually that amazing. Christopher's technology part 889,999. Oh. Don't worry. Guarantee I just fixed it. I guarantee it. I'll put $100 quadrillion on it. I'm just kidding. What did we clip? Did I show something I wasn't supposed to show? Or oh, is this that I have to tech was? Okay. Not that I have anything I wouldn't show.
And the investments are taken care of by others also. So for no investment, I mean virtually no investment whatsoever, it would bring stability to the area, and others can invest in it later on. But we're in no rush on it. There's absolutely no rush.
President Trump, do you believe DeepSeek is a national security threat, and how do you plan to?
I did lose the bet. Well, it's because I understand. Why is OBS? It's like splitting the audio into two. Why is it doing that? Because there's a, what? Oh my God, wait, this is why. I'm so fucking stupid. Hold on. Why is this here? Get this out of here. All right, watch this.
To collaborate on AI initiatives?
On where?
DeepSeek, do you believe it's a national security threat?
No, I think it's happening. I mean, it's a technology that's happening. It's actually, I think we're going to benefit if it's correct what's going on now, that it'll be a lot less expensive. The AI we're talking about will be a lot less expensive than people originally thought. That's a good thing. I view that as a very good development, not a bad development. And others can invest in it later on. But we're in no rush on it. There's absolutely no rush.
President Trump, do you believe DeepSeek is a national security threat, and how do you plan to collaborate on AI initiatives?
On where?
DeepSeek, do you believe it's a national security threat?
No, I think it's happening. I mean, it's.
Do you believe DeepSeek is a national security threat? Quote, no, I think it's happening. This fucking guy speaks like I can't believe people ever question like Joe Biden's speaking abilities versus this guy. I just can't believe. He's got to just flood the zone. You know, it's just like so normalized that he just speaks like he's in second grade.
It's a technology that's happening. It's actually, I think we're going to benefit if it's correct what's going on now, that it'll be a lot less expensive. The AI we're talking about will be a lot less expensive than people originally thought. That's a good thing. I view that as a very good development, not a bad development.
Mr. President, on autos specifically, in your first term, you tried to tariff autos. Is that on the table still? Are you trying to do that in your second administration?
Auto tariff?
Auto tariff?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's on the table. That's always on the table. It's a very big deal.
Do you think
Because
Congress
we
is
are,
wrong with it?
you know, we have cases where we don't supply autos and other countries do. And, you know, we have to equalize it. We have to stabilize it and equalize it.
Will you have Vice President Vance meet with President Zelensky next week while he's in Europe?
I will probably be meeting with President Zelensky next week, and I will probably be talking to President Putin. I'd like to see that war end for one primary reason. They're killing so many people.
I do want to point out that Donald Trump said that he'd have the war over within, quote, 24 hours of being elected. Well, actually, he said he'd have the war over if he was elected, but had not been inaugurated yet. And then he said he'd have it within 24 hours of being president, and it has now been. How many hours has it been since January 20th at 12:01 p.m.? You know, Siri's supposed to be all AI'd out now, and it's trash. Siri is by far the worst fucking voice service. How many, yo, what's going on, gang? How many hours has it been? Hours, minutes, seconds from January 20th at 12:01 p.m.
Hey, to figure out the exact time elapsed, I need the current date and time. Could you let me know that?
Yeah, it's February 7th at 5:03 p.m. No, actually 6:03 p.m. 6:03 p.m.
Got it. Thanks. From January 20th at 12:01 p.m. to February 7th at 6:03 p.m., it's been 18 days, 6 hours, and 2 minutes. Would you like the total in hours, minutes, and seconds?
Yes.
Sure. That's 438 hours, 2 minutes, and 0 seconds.
Okay.
If you need any...
All right, and is 438 hours more or less than 24 hours?
438 hours is definitely more than 24
Thanks.
hours.
Yeah, so Trump doesn't, a Trump campaign promise failed.
Losing millions of people on a battlefield. In this case, mostly the battlefield. You have 800,000 or 900,000 Russian soldiers are dead and very badly wounded. And the same thing with Ukraine. You have probably 700,000 with Ukraine. The numbers they gave are a little bit lower than that, but I believe those numbers aren't correct. I'd like to see it end just on a human basis. It's terrible what's going on. They have open fields with no protection. The only thing a bullet can hit is a human body, and the human body dies as soon as it gets hit. Now, I'd like to see that end. It's a ridiculous war. It would have never started if I were president. That war would have never started. Putin would not have started that war if I were president. And by the way, you wouldn't have had October 7th if I was president either. That mess would not have started. But no, I would very much like to help out. One of the things we're looking at with President Zelensky is having the security of their assets. They have assets underground, rare earth and other things, but primarily rare earth. And we want to have security. Really, we want security because, as you know, Europe is putting up much less money than us, NATO, Europe, call it whatever you want. And we're at probably 300 billion plus, and they're at probably, the real number is 100 billion. That's a lot of money, but it's 200 billion less than us.
Well, it's also, per capita there, pal. So there's like 20 other NATO countries that put up the same amount of money in percentage in relation to the percentage of their total GDP. There's actually several countries who put a larger percentage of their GDP into NATO as opposed to us. Obviously, from a pure numbers perspective, we put billions of more dollars in other countries, but why would we expect other countries, if we're going to invest, X amount of dollars, for them to dollar match if their economy is 1,000 times less the size? That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, glad this fucking guy is such a terrible, human being.
And there's an ocean in between, and they need it more than us. So we're asking them to equalize and get even, but we're also asking President Zelensky for the security of, we're putting all this money up, and we're saying, where does it stop? And yet, we want to see it out to an end. We want to see it end. But we are going to be asking for the security, and we've already told him, of an equal amount of something where our money, the American taxpayers in for $300.
What did he just say? Like, what is this? You can't understand any of what this guy ever talks about. It's like, I cannot believe the hypocrisy sometimes. It still hits me every day. It's absurdity. It's like actual fucking absurdity.
Of, we're putting all this money up, and we're saying, where does it stop? And yet, we want to see it out to an end. We want to see it end. But we are going to be asking for the security, and we've already told him, of an equal amount of something where our money, the American taxpayers in for $300 billion. Biden never negotiated. He never told Europe to put in more money, and it got out of hand, just like NATO. NATO we were paying almost 100% of NATO when I first came in. Everybody was taking advantage of the good old United States, but not anymore. So what, and now, if you speak to the Secretary General of NATO, who was very nice when he was here 2 weeks ago, he said what Trump did was amazing. He got everybody to pay. And to do that, you have to ask. And Biden never asked. So we're in for probably close to $200 billion more than Europe. And yet, obviously, it affects Europe much more than us. So we would like them to
Ned in the comments, because after what the Dems did to Bernie, I will vote for anyone but a Democrat. Nice. So it sounds like I'm glad you're putting your personal grievances, that moral superiority of yours over, the well-being of literally everybody. That's a great take. People are like, I don't like the DN. I am a Democrat, but they're just always so bad that I'm voted for Trump. I'm like, oh yeah, no, dude, you're punishing the DNC. Mm-hmm. All those people after Trump won, they didn't just go back to their fucking mansions in upstate New York. Like, what type of fucking like arrogant moral superiority do you have to have going on to believe that I'm protest voting, even though I'm a Democrat? There's a lot of fucking lives at stake here, brother. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who wish that they could do that, but they don't have the option to do that because they live in a swing state and the people they care about or themselves or their family depend on potential legislation being passed. So they might feel the way you do. They might hate the DNC, but I don't know. They just have to make a tough decision. I'm sure there's a lot of people who wish they were in your position, pal.
To equalize, they have to go more. And from our standpoint, we do want security and all this money that we're putting up.
And you're speaking with him next week, sir? Is that what you said?
You're going to speak.
He may meet next week, yeah. Whenever he'd like. I'm here. I'm here. Could be Washington. Well, I'm not going there.
Are you planning to meet with President Putin, or are you just planning
It
a
could
phone
be.
call?
It could be. We've always had a good relationship. President Putin and I have always had a good relationship. That's why it's so sad that it happened. This would have never happened if I were president. It's so sad to see it happen. So many dead people. By the way, so many cities are demolished. They're like, you talk about Gaza? Well, take a look at Ukraine. So many of those cities are demolition sites. Demolished. So sad. Should have never happened. All those beautiful golden domes, but much more importantly, all those beautiful people are dead. And it should have never happened. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Brad. Let's go, guys. Come on, guys. Hey, let's go. Thank you, guys. Let's exit. Thank you, guys. Let's go, guys. Out this way. Guys, let's go. Come on. Thank you. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Guys, let's go. Move, guys. Guys, let's go. Guys. All right, guys, come on. All right, thank you, guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Guys, let's go. Come on. Out.
How this doctor prevents dark spots.
You don't have one spot.
And people look at my hands, they say, oh my gosh, look at.
Ladies.
As someone who's been so grateful to be at the White House several times and in the Oval Office once, it's kind of fucking bone chilling to watch Trump walk through a place I have stepped or other. It's not actually me. It's that I can physically. I remember stepping in that building and thinking to myself that there's so many, people who care about this country who have stepped in those same places, and then I watch fucking Trump step there. Makes me fucking physically nauseous. It's like, dude, Jesus Christ. It's crazy that fucker gets to stain, such a stain in American history, such a stain.
We had a picture taken a little while ago, and it was so nice. I thought I'd present it to you on stage. And I wish I was as handsome as him, but I'm not.
石破さんほどハンサムだったらよかったんですけれども、私はそれほどハンサムには映ってないかもしれませんが。
These people have enjoyed a friendship like few others, a great friendship across the vast ocean, and found ourselves united by bonds of history, commerce, culture, mutual admiration, and great respect.
I kind of wish I Kind of wish I.
And an ally, 100%. In the years to come, the Prime Minister of the Interior, we were talking about
liquefied natural gas to Japan in a mutually beneficial manner. Regarding foreign exchange, as in the first Trump administration, close discussions will continue between Japanese and the U.S. finance ministers who are experts in this field.
We also held candid discussions on challenges the Indo-Pacific region.
It's a little overwhelming to hear, you know, two different people talking at the same time. You know, kind of wish I could just get the point where just he's talking, or just I don't know.
Strong and proud, it's a nation that is home to one of the great civilizations in the history of the world.
You'll be back! Emus can't help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with the Prime Minister. We had a picture taken a little while ago, and it was so nice, I thought I'd present it to you on stage. And here's the picture. I wish I was as handsome as him, but I'm not.
Okay, thank you. Oh.
Remember that day. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm delighted to welcome Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru to the White House for the first time. And Prime Minister, it's an honor to have you with us, a great honor. Japan is a great country. Thank you very much. Japan is strong and proud. It's a nation that is home to one of the great civilizations in the history of the world. For nearly 80 years, the American-Japanese people have, 80 years ago,
and aligning our perspectives and visions that Japan and the United States should pursue.
To usher in a new golden age of Japan.
これはアメリカの国民が懸念することだと思うんですけど。
Well, it doesn't, but they get it very easily. I mean, we don't have very good security in our country, and they get it very easily. And what we're doing, if you look at...
I'm going to be honest with you, chat, it's like impossible to listen to this. You know, it's just, I don't know. I didn't know that, like, it's not impossible. I mean, it's always impossible because it's Trump. But I mean, it's impossible because, like, there's just constantly two voices going on. So it's like, just fucking...
Way to do it. That way, nobody's hurt. They charge us, we charge them. In terms of tariffs, I mean...
Wait. Maybe this part.
Man, very, very strong. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
This is Hiramoto from Nippon Television. My question, let me ask two quick questions.
Sure.
First, this is the first meeting between Mr. President and Prime Minister Ishiba. So what kind of impression do you have on him? And number two, do you have an idea or do you have a plan to impose tariff against Japan so far? Thank you.
I think that he is going to be a great prime minister. I think he's a very strong man, very, very strong. I have great respect for him. I've known him for a long time through a reputation. Shinzo Abe thought the world of him, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job as prime minister. A very strong person. I wish he wasn't so strong. I wish he was a little bit weaker than that, but that's what I got. I have to get strong guys all the time. He's going to be a great prime minister. I also, in terms of tariffs, I mean, we're going to have tariffs, mostly reciprocal tariffs, where we go with, and I'm going to be probably meeting on that Monday or Tuesday, have an announcement, probably a news conference. but probably reciprocal tariffs where a country pays so much or charges us so much, and we do the same. So very reciprocal, because I think that's the only fair way to do it. That way.
That makes no sense. But also, this would be the moment at 242. I believe the markets reacted pretty fucking negatively to this just random announcement of potential tariffs on Japan. This guy has no fucking idea. Just saying, it's kind of nice to have a president who answers questions thoughtfully, because his words are pretty powerful. And this guy just fucking is just, oh my god, man. Love you, Chris. I love you, Stargazer. I appreciate being here. Insane. Literally insane.
Nobody's hurt. They charge us, we charge them. It's the same thing. And I seem to be going in that line as opposed to a flat fee tariff. Okay? Yes, go, please. Please, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead?
This is Ota from Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. I have a question for Prime Minister Ishiba. So this is your very first summit meeting. What was your impression of President Trump? Were you able to build a good relationship of trust and confidence? In Northeast Asia, there are many challenges, China, North Korea, and so forth. And with President Trump, what did you appeal to him, and what kind of understanding were you able to obtain? On the economic field, there is the acquisition of U.S. Steel, by Nippon Steel, and there are expansion of import of LNG. What were the communication discussion did you have with President Trump? For the $1 trillion of investment from Japan to investment, what was his reaction? What about your communication on tariff front? This is the first time that I met with President Trump in person. So this was the first time meeting face-to-face. But for many, many years, I have watched him on television. So it was quite I was so excited to see such a celebrity on television, to see in person. On television, he is frightening. And he has a very strong personality. But when I met with him, actually, he was very sincere and very powerful. And
what you're watching right now, by the way, and again, this makes the communication for Democrats harder, because I don't know, Democrats get flooded with shit. And people don't understand anything these days. So what you're watching in an example like this, again, is like authoritarianisms take hold. And it's what Mark Zuckerberg did. It's what every fucking tech guy is doing. It's what someone else is doing, where you just bend and you basically just get on your knees. And so the Japanese prime minister is probably, I'm not familiar with this individual. I only have enough capacity in my brain for knowledge on one political atmosphere, and that would be the United States. But you just watch, people come in and just say, you just glaze the fuck out of people, But he was so frightening on TV, but he's so sincere in person, and I can't believe I got to watch a celebrity. And, it's not like it's his fault, but, gotta do what's best for your country in some aspects, and they know that if they talk badly about Trump, policy will change just based on that, right? Which is disgusting to think about, right? The United States as a whole, policy will change domestically or for other countries, depending on how you speak about the president. I mean, that's just gross to begin with, right? If somebody speaks negatively about the president of the United States, or says, I don't like that the president said this, it was gross and disgusting, and it made my people in my country upset, then U.S. foreign policy should change for that individual, right? But you think about, again, authoritarianism, fascism. It's crazy to live in a world where if you don't bend the knee, then you play by different rules. It's insane.
With strong will for the United States as for the whole world, I was able to feel that this is not the sort of polishing or trying to suck up to him. For the world peace and for the regional stability that both of our countries need to play our role and make our endeavors and responsibility. As for the increase of our defense expenditures, it is not that we are told by the United States to. And this.
When you said that, or when you talked
Well,
about
we didn't discuss tariffs too much. We really discussed many other things, including the pipeline in Alaska, which I think is going to be maybe the most exciting thing with Doug and Chris. We discussed that at length, the pipeline. I mean, it seemed to be of great interest to them. It's we have potentially more oil and gas than in Saudi Arabia, just in Alaska. We have the most of any country in the world. It's a big asset for the United States, but we haven't used it. We go to Venezuela, we go to other places to take oil.
First of all, Megan, enjoy your homework. I appreciate you being here. Try to enjoy your homework. Yeah, like Biden was like a net, had the United States as a net exporter of oil for the first time in 70 years. Trump just like says shit, but you know, the action is always different, but you know, flood the zone, you know, convince people otherwise. I mean, yeah, it's going to be more of the same, tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. I really kind of just wanted to watch. Well, I kind of assumed that I was going to be able to. I kind of assumed I was going to be able to watch more of this part, but again, he kind of fucked up the audio, and I don't know, maybe it's not as exciting as I thought, but it was. I guess the more important part was this first 8 minutes where Trump is taking questions. These questions seem, you know, related to fucking whatever. He was asked a question by Peter Doocy, the Fox News guy, who's just such a fucking piece of shit. if I may say so candidly. You know, they're always complaining over there at Fox with Biden that people never ask Biden hard questions. Peter Doocy's question to Trump today was, Elon Musk tweeted that I love at Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man without it being gay. And that was Peter Doocy's question. It was, this is what Elon Musk tweeted. How does that make you feel? Oh, really hard questions there, Peter. Fucking disgrace, man. What a disgrace. I would give anything to be able to conversate with some of those people at Fox News. I'd give anything to go on that platform live and just shred some of these fuckers. Just shred them. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 5 winter storms. What the hell? Snow will become early Saturday over the northern plains, upper Midwest. How much snow is coming in the next 3 days? I want some more snow. Oh, damn. Damn. Global warming, brother. Snowstorm in Maryland. You know what I was thinking about, guys? Sorry to track off this for a second. But you know, I've gotten some comments lately, or you know, I've seen people. Don't worry, I'm always in the shadows lurking. You know, I see some people joke about no, but be safe, please. I see people joke about the idea of me starting like an alt account, like sometimes Harry has and stuff. And you know, people enjoy sometimes when I like don't talk about politics. And lately, I've been thinking to myself, I'm like, man, you know, I live in a new city. It's, you know, Chicago's really pretty. I'm like, maybe I should like. I was looking the other day. I was like, maybe I should just like take a drive somewhere, like, you know, just like, you know, drive an hour or two somewhere, you know, drive back. I like driving, you know, clears that. But I was thinking last night as I was falling asleep, I was like, you know what I've always like watched, or like when you go down rabbit holes on like YouTube or whatever, is like shit about ghosts or things being haunted. I know this is super off topic. And you know, like part of the problem on like people who like go investigate haunted spots is like, you know, on YouTube, it's always like the debate about if they're real or not. Like if the actual people doing it are real. I know like Sam and Colby are like really big in this space, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes the videos are fun to watch. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, maybe I was like, I should start an alt TikTok account. I should just post a video where I'm like raw. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to like look up the most haunted place in Illinois, fucking drive. Pull up at like 11 p.m. Get some like a Amazon like a ghost hunter like thing. You know, they have like all the things where it's like something that'll like play with electrical signals and give you like voices back, and just record it on TikTok and be like, you know, I'm tired of never knowing if this shit, if people, what people post on TikTok or what people post on YouTube around this is real. So we're just gonna pull up to a spot, ask some questions to some ghosts and see what happens. And I'll post it raw to see what happens. It would scare the fuck out of me because like it's shit's so scary, but like I do it though. Like I feel like that'd be fun. I was thinking about that. I'd be so scared. I'd be so scared, bro. Chris, I'm kidding. I beg you not to do this. Why, Cassidy? The microwave goes, why? What's wrong with doing it, dude? Fuck it. It's not a want, it's a need. I mean, yeah, I am really scared of that though. Like, cause you know, like, why do you want to fuck with that if you don't understand it? You know, there's no point. Kind of risky. You're playing with spirits you don't understand. But I was like, fuck it, right? Why not? I'll go to basically like some graveyard with like a little like, you know, like those. What do you call that? You have like a device that like, yeah. Oh, I beg you to do it. Oh, I understand. It'll probably be fun. That's right. That's right. I used to say that to my boys all the time. We were about to do something like super stupid. It'll probably be fun. Please let Harry know the video he just reacted to was satire. Uh-oh. First of all, W Mad Bobblehead, good to see you. Wait, did he react to something on TikTok? Crazy. Oh, shit. Shit.
I voted for Trump in 2016
Oh, no.
and in 2024. This is my confession. I will never vote for him again. I'm now.
This is satire, Mads?
My mama insulin is too high now.
Uh-oh. Video you reacted to on TikTok is... Oh, I feel bad. Hate to come with bad news. All right, I text him. Well, I've done that before, actually. I have done that. It's a tough one. It hurts. Sometimes you don't realize. People make mistakes. Hey, look, it's me.
Like, I've actually done it before. I've criticized like Democrats, like specifically Hakeem Jeffries, and it all just went south. Like, I started losing followers. Like, it's bad, right? And I really want to be the person that like reaches the other side, because Democrats, I mean, they're horrible at their jobs, right? They do a lot of shitty things, although I'll vote for them all the time. But it's also hard in the space to criticize them.
That's good. Can we clip that quote?
It's a while ago. Yeah, you know, 6 months into social media, it's a different game, brother. That was the Tim Dillon podcast, April 23. It's almost a year ago. Crazy. What a clip. Top tier clip, yeah. Well, you know. And you were right. Well, sometimes Harry and I joke that there's times I am vindicated for that quote. Not that Democrats like govern in a shitty way ever, really, because like their policies are good. Like Biden-Harris accomplished so much. It's anything else relating. It's like comms or like trying to like do something. You know, you got to like have Republicans on their heels. You know, the polling says this. Let's message this way. There has been times where I've been vindicated. I'll always push that, like I've become so much more of a staunch Democrat because of the Biden-Harris administration and how much they accomplished. It's actually insanely fucking impressive. But, you know, in terms of like communication and such, sometimes it can be tough. It can be hard. It can be hard. Okay, so yeah, that was like a lot of, you know, unfortunately, I wish I was gonna react to that video longer. That was a lot of what, you know, I wanted to react to. My cat Nala says hi. Hello, cat. Hello, Nala. Oh my. This fucking guy again, man. Dude, like Dan, fucking Dan, dude. You need to go do something else, Bidal. You need to go do something else, Bidal. We could make a TikTok video on Twitch. I guarantee that's not actually live. Actually, no. I wanna like shower later because I'm fucking. Or take a political quiz. I'm not sure about political. What political quiz? I didn't sass you. Wrong. Wrong. I did not. Can I ban people if they're super rude and homophobic? I mean, yeah. It just depends how you define. Fix your face while you're addressing me. Depends how you define super rude, I guess. I do not know what hot to go is. Oh, is this entire? Oh.
You not only to the 45th, but to the 47th president, who is the greatest champion of any president that has ever been, of religion, of faith, and of God. Will you please welcome President Donald J. Trump?
No, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I've heard of it, and I don't really know what it is. I wouldn't be able to answer it. Andy said check my last chat. Where's your last chat, Andy? 1,470 members. We're so close. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. Are you headed to the gym later, or did you already go? I've not gone to the gym. I would really like to go to the gym later, yes. I don't think... Andy, where's your chat? I don't see your chat, Andy. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not going to Spotify. Wrong.
Maybe in this song?
Whoops. This? 5, 6. Yeah, I've heard of this. Wait. Oh, yeah. I've heard this on TikTok. Okay. It sounds like a song. Seattle Children's Hospital in Washington just paused all gender affirming care. Really? Andy, I appreciate you mentioning that. I'm going to do some research on that. Really appreciate that. Fuck. I'm sick of this place. I'm on it, Casper. I'm on it.
Well, thank you very much. That's a big group of people. That's a nice group. Well, we want to bring religion back stronger, bigger, better than ever before. Very important, and this is a good start. This is really good. We have to have religion, and it suffered greatly over the last few years, but it's coming back. It's coming back strong, and I want to thank you, Pastor Paula, who I have known for a long time. She's a fantastic person, and thanks to the thousands of believers here today from all across the country and from all around the world. This is a beautiful tradition. They told me I could do it via Skype. And I said, what are we doing? And they said, the prayer breakfast. I said, I've been there every year. I'm not doing it via Skype. Right? Via Skype. I'm going to be there. It's not that far, you know, it's like about 2 minutes down the road. In fact, it was easier to do this than put up a Skype deal. Destroy the White House, putting up all that stuff. But now I want to be here with you. And I have been here with you. Thank you. And I do that despite the fact that they say I can't run again. That's the expression. Sure. Then somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh. Now, I want to be with you regardless, and it's an honor, and it's something I've enjoyed. I've actually met some very nice Democrats here. It's true. I have. But this is a beautiful tradition that started with President Eisenhower in 1953, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. After 4 long years, really, they were very long, dark years, in my opinion. It's great to be back at the prayer breakfast, and I hope you all agree it's nice to once again have a president that shows up to the prayer breakfast. And that agrees to be interviewed for the Super Bowl. I'm doing that too. They haven't done it in so long, they forgot about it. They said, oh, but they hadn't done it in years. But I said, yeah, this morning they wanted to know. And I said, yeah, why not? What the hell? You know the way I look at it? They ask you a question and you give them an answer. It's not that hard. But they didn't show up for years, so they were almost shocked when I said, yeah, I'll do it, why not? But I want to thank our great newly confirmed Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's fantastic, by the way, for being here this morning. I don't know is he around? Where is he? Where is he? He's right
there. I just realized there's a video we need to watch, Chad. There's a video we're going to dive into. We're going to get into some controversy together. My God, Jesus, fuck. I hate YouTube so much. Hold on a second. Where can I gotta copy and paste. So, it's gonna be, I'm gonna get us into some controversy. Because why not? Whoops, what the fuck? No, I'm not trying to copy my own title. Where the fuck? Oh, it's because it's, wait, hold on. I will explain. Here we go. Is there another YouTube channel? It's like the show? Oh no, it should just be. Oh, it's because it's gonna be under live. So there's a. I was with a group. It's an inside joke. So here's the tea, folks. There's a Democrat strategist who I probably met this person in person. And her name is Lindy Lee, and Lindy Lee, big supporter of Joe Biden, big supporter, a fundraiser and a strategist who also had quite the social media presence, about 350, 400K on TikTok. She raised a lot of money for the DNC, and she met Biden a lot. Like she was at a lot of events, always took pictures with Biden, always talked about how much she loved Joe Biden. I follow her. We've chatted. Lindy Lee, after the election, has gone on a tirade, basically becoming a Republican. And this tirade started at first with her going on like News Nation and saying that she always knew, saying that Democrats blew $1.5 billion and it was a disgrace, and has now turned in to her actively working with the Trump. She worked with the Trump administration to fundraise for his inauguration and tried to get invited to that. And then she's now been going on Fox and Friends consistently saying that Biden was always not fit to do the job. And she tried to talk about it, but got shot down by the DNC. And then as it got worse, and she was just it became very clear that this human being is actively just trying to make herself more well-known and doesn't have a thought in her head, or doesn't have a belief in her head, I should say. She just wants to make money. She went on Sean Ryan's podcast yesterday and said she believed that the election was rigged in 2020. Not stolen, but rigged was her exact quote in 2020. Because apparently the Hunter Biden laptop and all this stuff. So she is a mess. No, it's very clear that she, whatever she needs to do to be relevant. And it's disgusting. So she went on Benny Johnson today. And the tweet from Benny Johnson says, DNC insider Lindy Lee joins the Benny Show live to reveal the downfall of the Kamala campaign and expose celebrities. So, I would like to see this part with Lindy Lee and Benny Johnson. That's the tea. And I think in the world of knowing other people in this space, this has been a private conversation amongst people of like, what the fuck? She's a fraud.
Inside, and it's our great honor to welcome her to the program live now. Lindy, welcome to the show. We are honored to have you. You've had an absolutely wild last 24 hours. There are a lot of people who don't, on the left, who don't want you to be on this program and don't want you to be speaking truth, whether it's here or Fox News or Sean Ryan's show. And so we just say thank you. Thank you for engaging in just honesty.
Again, I want to point out, she now will go on Fox and Friends and not only say that Biden was not capable or suggest the election was rigged, but also say, Democrats failed on the border. They left the border wide open. Like it's not no honest criticism of Democrats. It's a very clear, and if you go look at her Twitter, it's a very clear, let's get on as many shows as possible and be the new face of the matter. Because, you stay relevant after the election by, Fox running, Fox ran massive headlines. DNC Insider flips after Kamala loses. She's on Sean Ryan's podcast, which is the second biggest podcast in the world, I believe, behind Rogan right now. And now she's on Johnson, and this is all, she's in a lot of headlines. A lot of people are talking about her. We're talking about her, which makes her more relevant, which either A, she likes the relevancy, or B, the relevancy makes her money. And she has a job and the Trump administration loves her. So yeah, no, it's not, it's no, obviously, like, it's very clear a human being going from Joe Biden protects democracy and posting pictures with Joe Biden and constantly your whole life being how much Democrats have gotten done and how evil Trump is. I mean, very passionate, supposedly very passionate about how much of a threat Trump was to democracy and all these things, to just all of a sudden ignore all that and be on the Republican talking points. It's very clear that I'm not sure she really believes anything or cares enough to, I mean, maybe she does believe something, but it doesn't matter to her what she says she believes publicly, whatever keeps her relevant.
Truth.
Betty, I want to thank you. Just hearing what you said, I want to cry. I haven't slept. I just want to cry and thank you.
Really quickly on YouTube, Gina just sent me $10 on YouTube. Keep up the good work, Chris. Gina, I appreciate you so much if you're still here. Really, really, that means a lot. The super chat, that's absolutely incredible. You're fucking amazing, seriously. Can I get some W's in the Twitch chat for Gina as well? I really, really appreciate you, Gina. Thank you for being here. You fucking rock.
You so much for giving me this opportunity. I've actually admired you from afar for a number of years now. I'd love to see you crushing it every single day. And yeah, thank you so much for having faith in me and giving me this chance to speak with your fan base.
Well, I mean, everyone was very interested in hearing your story, and every single time it seems like you sort of shatter a false narrative that is out there about the 2024 election and what actually happened. And since you were in the building, and since you were there, you have obviously great authority to speak on these things. I'm very sorry to hear that you've been losing sleep. Maybe we can start with that. Can you explain the circumstances that are causing you to lose sleep right now, Lindy?
I do want to point out that nothing she has said has been like a shattering of norms. Like, in the sense that, like, everything she has claimed up to this point has been in with no evidence or any further conversation behind it, has just been a Republican talking point we've already heard. Like, she claimed that, like, she thinks the election was rigged because the Hunter Biden laptop was real, and the 50 intelligence agents that talked about it before the election lied about it. That's been a Republican talking point forever. And no, they didn't lie about it because they never said the laptop was fake. They very much said the laptop was real. They said it was possible the contents of the laptop were fake, which is still a possibility because we don't have all the contents of the laptop. So, like, or her conversation around the border, where she just goes on Fox and Friends and it's like, blah, 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 the border was wide open and I tried to talk about it and no one would listen. What? Like, what? That doesn't mean any, like, that makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
Betty, I'm not actually sure if the producer sent along the text that I shared with her, but last night I was actually going to go for a run to clear my mind, but then I got a text. It's actually so complex. It's the same lawyer that I once fought against who tried to kick me off the ballot exactly 10 years ago when I was running for Congress. This is the same lawyer who wanted to essentially destroy my dream of running for Congress. He succeeded 10 years ago. And then 10 years later, he sends me a text saying that he's going to send a cease and desist.
All right, let's listen. I agree that, Lindy Lee is somebody who is on doing these things for her own personal image. Let's not say things in chat about how she looks or any of that. I would appreciate that.
I don't shut up, basically. And I don't want to identify him and possibly get myself in hotter water than I already am. But yeah, it's just caused me significant anxiety. It's like, what did someone say? Courage isn't not having fear, it's having the fear and doing it anyway. So I'm just trying to go, the only way out of this is through.
And don't apologize, guys. It's all good. It's no worries. Yeah, she is doing this for clout. Like, there's no way. There's no way she's not doing this for clout. Like, again, there's nothing she has said that's like blown a gasket. And it's every single thing she has said has just been like the same thing we've heard from Republicans. And now she's saying it, and there's no like evidence behind it, or like some like idea that for some reason she can. Like when she goes on Sean Ryan and talks about how she thinks the election was rigged because the intelligence agency, like, she's not a part of the intelligence agencies. She doesn't know any better than anyone else. Why, like, it's just very oddly like in line with all the Republican talking points. It's just I don't know.
True, right? So I'm just trying to steamroll my way through the angst. Not angst, just the fear.
So what you've just told us here is bombshell. So there
I'm sorry if it's nonsensical.
Power. There are individuals within the apparatus attempting to protect the Democrat Party that are now legally threatening you for
Yeah,
speaking truth?
and I called him immediately because we know each other, and I asked him like what part of what I said was untrue. So we broke it down into pieces. And every single thing I said was true. He just didn't want it mashed together and presented to an audience in a digestible fashion, you know?
So someone is someone's attempting to legally harass you.
He did. It was an attempt. He did.
So now the party is legally harassing you, or individuals that are protecting of the party, legally harassing you for just saying true things about the 2024 election.
Yeah. And after we spoke, it became clear that he wasn't going to send the letter because what I said was true. He just didn't want it said. And yeah, Benny, I just honestly, I think I'm going to take a few days just to escape this world because it's really just so much.
Wow.
Dude, what? Okay. I just don't understand, Lindy. I don't understand.
And I was just texting someone that I love. I was like, I need you to understand what this is costing me. I don't really care if the world knows. I just need you to know that this is not easy. It's not, people call me a grifter. I want to be clear one more time. No one paid me to raise money for Biden or Harris. Donors donate. With all due respect, do people understand English? Right? I give when donors, it's like Elon Musk, he gave $250 million. He wasn't taking from Trump. He didn't take money from Trump. Donors donate. I wasn't paid to do any of that. I wasn't paid to expose their corruption. Benny, you're not paying me now. So like, this is all because it's the right thing to do. I'm not.
Okay. But again, you are becoming significantly more relevant as opposed to just continuing to be a Democrat. Like if I said the same things that Lindy was saying on Fox and Friends, I would be significantly more people would know who I am, right? So obviously it's going to raise some flags when you're like it appears as if instead of saying what you believe, you're going on every talk show imaginable to say a lot of stuff that just is kind of more political shots than fucking I don't know. How do I phrase this? It's more, it's not like you're, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah, substance. Thank you, Jess. Substance. Thank you. It says we're at, I don't know how many, first of all, thank you again, everybody, for being here. I don't know, man, like, it's a tough one for me, chat, because, like, again, like, Lindy Lee is somebody who, I've, chatted with, and is very kind. She's super kind, so nice, and I just, like, I don't know, now that I'm watching the video, I just want to understand. I'm like, dude, I can't, like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't, it's like, I almost feel bad for calling a spade, but it's like, I'm just trying to, I'm calling it how I see it, And I shouldn't feel bad for calling a spade, right? But it's like, fuck, like, why, Lindy? I don't understand. And this is always what people say, like, I'm too nice, I'm too, I am. I've thought a lot about this. I'm too nice, I'm too giving, I'm too not willing to call people on their bullshit. And the Winston Churchill quote is about World War II. It's about the weakness of the virtuous, meaning people who, even though they have a strong moral compass, are unwilling don't want to engage in conflict, and it paves the way for fascism. It paves the way for a world war. So I've done a lot of thought around, like, you can't give people an inch when you're fighting for a country, what you care about, regardless if it makes you uncomfortable. The weakness of the virtuous, which I fall into that category. And I know I need to have boundaries, whatever. I'm just talking. I appreciate. No, you're right, Kayla. I wasn't trying to say it like that. I was saying, you know, it's like obviously it's a very broad thing. I love that quote too. But you know, in this instance, I should be, you know, just dunking on Lindy. But it's also, I think I also, this part of the world, life frustrates me because I want to understand why people do what they do. And at some point, you know, you just have to relinquish control and understand that, like, I can only understand my perspective, but I want so desperately to understand people. And that's a lot of times why I go live on TikTok. I like dunking on MAGA, but I just so desperately want to understand why some people do what they do. It drives me nuts. And it's like, I just don't understand, Lindy. I don't get this. I don't get this.
Not compensated in any way. In fact, I lost everything on the Democratic side.
So, Lindy, that
Yes, dude. Like again, like, and this is the other thing that frustrated me is that Lindy said, you know, like part of the reason she really hard turned to MAGA and said she was going to work with the incoming Trump administration was because Democrats she called us the cold. They're cold. When I start leaving, they said the most horrible things about me. Okay, so and I do think there's a problem with Democrats. I've seen it. You know, like people saying racist things toward Lindy, or Democrats who say racist things toward minorities who are not Democrat. That shit is not fucking cool, right? And I actually agree with people who call this out, because I see it in my own comments where it's like, all right, let's not attack people. Like, you know, it's like, oh, we'll be kind and open to you if you're on our side, but if you're not, we're gonna open the floodgates of hate, and it's okay to call you, you know, racist, misogynistic, terrible things. Not fucking cool, right? With that said, obviously there is going to be a lot of kickback and hate not relating to that, because there's a lot of us who actually passionately feel that Trump is a massive threat to democracy, and you're just fucking you're just fucking going and like, you know, fucking try, like just going on everywhere, just being like, oh, I'm working with Trump now. And then you're surprised when they're like, oh, I thought Democrats would be okay with me doing this. Like, no, dude, we're fighting for fucking what we care about in America. And you're just fucking flip-flopping sides because you want to be relevant. And it's like, okay, we're obviously going to be very angry. I don't think anyone should ever say anything around misogyny or racism. That is not okay. And when Lindy said that she was getting some of that kickback, I believe her. I believe that was happening. That's not okay. I don't understand the perspective that you're upset that like people are upset with you because now you're saying that like, oh, you try to voice these things and actually Trump is like gonna help fix America. It's like, oh my, bro, we've been fighting. Like, we're so passionate about how bad this guy is, regardless of if we're on the losing side or the winning side, we have like some principles here. And it's like, it's really frustrating for some people to watch someone with like that appears to just have no principle, you know?
While this comes as a massive shock, for the last 4 years, we've been covering lawfare against
Yo, Ellie, I
Trump,
appreciate you so
suing
much.
Trump and coming after him legally and attempting to destroy. So this does seem like a used tactic that often happens inside of these circles, and we're incredibly sorry that this is happening to you. It's horrifying. It's disgusting. We stand against it, and obviously we have your back. And what an awful thing to do to somebody who maybe we can pivot to what your roles in the 2024 election. You were a fundraiser for Kamala Harris. You worked with the DNC and Joe Biden. That was your official position?
Yeah, I served in a number of positions at the DNC actually over the years. This has been a decade-long experience. And I just want to, you got to take responsibility. I should have known sooner. I just didn't see it. I just did not see it.
And again, I want to say this because this is, we're going to add tea to the already piping hot tea. Again, I think as somebody who has obviously friends, my whole life is politics. And on a deeper level, I obviously think quite a bit about how the Democrat Party can win, because I would like to not I would like to win, because when Democrats win, you see something like the Biden-Harris administration, which in my opinion was very productive and not fascism. As somebody who privately understands, in my private life or world, understands some of the deeper aspects of what's going on in politics and how money is flowing, just from a bird's eye view, and have people and know people within politics, like it becomes significantly more obvious that Lindy is doing this because for money or relevance, because she's jumping off what people are viewing as the falling ship or the sinking ship in terms of just money flowing within the Democrat Party, right? The New York Times has written great articles about this right after the loss in November, where like the atmosphere of political money for the Democrat Party is a fucking shit show. The top donors of the Democrat Party were at this time this article was written panicking. You had some reports, I think, from the New York Times that one of the top donors for the Democrats was looking to flee the country because they were scared Trump was going to come after them. You had memos being sent around the Democrat Party, people trying to garner, after you lose, you're trying to garner, like, okay, it's time to get back to work. And you have to figure out where money's going to flow. And it was on a scale, an unbelievable disaster, right? Everyone has a different idea of where money should go. No one wants to spend money because what the fuck just happened? Some of the top donors are like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so the approval rating for the Democrat Party right now is the lowest in modern American history, right? And so from a pure, if you are a strategist, a consultant, a fucking, if you're fundraising, you're watching those angles of the inside and you're saying this is money's never going to flow to me, right? If you're working for the DNC and money is not flowing from donors to the DNC to do work, then you can't make any money. You might just not have a job, And so it's from that perspective, it makes way more sense. Not just that you're becoming more that Lindy's becoming more relevant and making more money for herself, but if the Democrat Party looks, it's been plenty of public reporting about how it looks like a fucking mess right now. The DNC is a mess, and we're just figuring it out as we had a DNC chair race, and someone got nominated, and we're looking to the DNC. I say we because I'm just I attempt to try to be part of this on a public facing front. But as the DNC clearly has to go through a major rebuild. The DNC chair we just elected, that's replacing Jamie Harrison, is very passionate about a massively completely changing how the DNC works on an operation scale. If you're watching that as somebody who is some type of consultant or strategist in the DNC, you're well, this is all getting ripped apart and it's a mess and we have to build back up and that's a lot of work and money's not going to be flowing as easily. So I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to become more relevant, and I'm going to be in the White House, and I'm going to be able to take the pictures with everybody, and the Republican Party is in power everywhere, and I'm going to get opportunities, right? So from an inside, perspective that I think is harder to look at if you're not always involved in politics, this is so clearly for this, I do remember that, Lulu. I do. I know Rua in Georgia. I've spoken to her several times. I like Rua a lot. Yeah, I've I worked at the Georgia State Capitol, and obviously Rua is a Democrat in the state rep. And I've gone to a lot of events. I've talked to her extensively. Yeah, I like Rua a lot. She's a great person. Democrats have a lot of work to do. That's right, Kayla. That's right. Again, bottom line, you're watching this consultant, strategist, anyone on the inside, wanting to see the dollars flow. and you have all this work to do. And then with all this work, if she's raising money for Democrats, she has to go to donors and convince them to donate. And it's like, okay, we have a lot of work to do. That pitch is going to be a lot harder, right? Especially with where we're at right now. So it's like, from just a pure, like, what do I need to do for my career to continue to survive? Not, this makes plenty of sense. Nova, I appreciate you. Please be safe, please.
See it. I grew up in a democratic world and very liberal. Can you see that I live in Philadelphia? It's just completely blue. There are no Republicans here. The voter registration, I think, is like 1 to 8 or 1 to 7. So it wasn't an option for me. And I just didn't see it. I'm sorry. Now that I have, everything makes sense. It's just, I was speaking to someone and, the Chinese Communist Party killed my great-grandfather. And I realize now that the Democratic Party has adopted many of the tactics that communists use, which is violence.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like, what? There's no, what the fuck, dude? There's no, like, Lindy. Like, there's no, what I'm saying is, like, when we're talking about exposing corruption, like, there's obviously not a lot of substance behind what you just said. That's a little brazen, if I do say so myself. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we saying? I actually am apologetic for your father. I know some of Lindy's backstory, and again, but like, that's like, I comment, yeah, it's buzzwords. Yes, Lorena, yes. Like, oh my goodness, bro.
Violent excommunication, the discrediting, the destroying. They will do everything. They will defame you to the ends of the earth. Why did it take me 10 plus years to realize this? I think a lot of it is actually branding. And I was like, it's blue. They purport to care about people. I didn't realize that a lot of it just mimics the Communist Party that my family fled from.
Wow. And now that's happening in short order to you. They're now using those tactics against you for simply speaking the truth. I want to get into that, but I just still can't really fathom. All you're doing is saying true things about what happened in 2024, and they're threatening you and trying to silence you and excommunicate you.
It's been going on for months. Every day since November, I've woken up and braced myself for the next avalanche of abuse. My notifications are off, so I only it's just really hard. I try not to read anything, any comments. It's hard, and I've lost all my friends. They turned out to be fake, but I lost all my friends on that side. People that I've done so much for over the years. People text and call me and shame me, like people that I thought were friends. Like, how could you? It's the right thing to do.
I don't understand, because especially after a loss, and if you're somebody who is on the right side, if you're somebody who's a Republican, you experience massive, catastrophic landslide election losses, right, over the last 20 years. Everyone saw it, right? It was a requirement when that happens is the ability to criticize your own party. We do this constantly on the show. We criticize Republicans. We criticize Republican leaders. We talk about what's smart and what's not. And nobody comes after us for doing that, right? I think that's like, it's implied that you must be able to critique and see the problems. And from a distance, that seems like all you were doing with the Democrat Party was saying, here's how we could have done it better, right?
No, because it goes against their narrative that the American people are racist and sexist. It's the only thing they can say. They attack everyone for being racist and sexist. Have you noticed it's all about their woke fest, their DEI narrative? Everyone hail Goddess Kamala. She's untouchable. You can't criticize her. You can't point out that.
What I'm saying, like, what did you believe? Like, if you were going to call it a DEI woke fest, like, what actually ever made you a Democrat? Like what that's such a like this is what I'm saying. The substance behind what we're talking about is like you're not saying, "Oh, this is what Democrats did wrong." Which by the way, dude, I made a video the day after the election. It was like, "This is why Democrats lost. We can't resonate with the working class because of this, this and this." What are you like what? And I'm just like I don't like again like if you have you're probably going to get kickback, which I don't agree with that kickback. I think there is a lot too much kickback. I can't speak for, I'm not going to fucking speak on the hypocrisy of the Republican Party and the whole rhino thing. I mean, they're the party of cancellation now. But yeah, I agree. There is too much kickback within the Democrat Party if you say, I think Democrats did this bad. And there's like an avalanche of people that are upset. I get that. I agree with that. I think we should be able to speak more openly about, I say we. I think Democrats as a whole, as a community, elected officials or not, or if you're just in somewhere, should be able to speak, but we should allow people to do some more of that. I get it. I understand. Okay, I've talked about this. But again, you're not doing that. You're not. You're going on, you just said, they're so obsessed with the woke buzz fest and the woke DEI buzzword fest, and Kamala Harris is the queen to them, and they're the Communist Party. Okay, well that's not right. Like, come on, dude. Like, let's have right, exactly. I'm like, come on, let's be a little more honest with ourselves here. I'm not. People say I should criticize the Dems more, right? They say I'm shilly. I do have a obviously pretty intense favorable view of Democrats. I do, right? I call a spade where I see it. I criticize them where I feel necessary or where I feel I should. I just try to be open and authentic. Maybe I like Democrats too much. Whatever. The point being is like, this is not like what we're doing in this episode, at least. This is not criticism of the Democrat Party. This is buzzword. And it's been like that, Lindy. Like, it's been Fox, it's been News Nation of like, it's not like sitting down and like writing an opinion piece of like, this is where Democrats went wrong. I feel like I can't speak my voice. I really like the values that Democrats hold, but they're so backwards here, and here. That is significantly different than going on Fox and Friends and saying that the border's wide open, Joe Biden's incompetent, they're the Communist Party. It's like, okay, bro. I mean, what beliefs do you hold true to you? Like, it's like, I don't know. I'm just a human being of like principle. And it's like, if you want to, like, can you just have some integrity to yourself? Because like, did you ever believe things Democrats were saying about how important it was for, something like, systemic racism? Or did you just always think that that was bullshit, but we took pictures with Biden, so it's fine? Like, wow.
That $2.5 billion is essentially set on fire. I raised millions of that. It's just I don't know, Benny, I never imagined that my life would take this turn. I never envisioned it would be this way. I never even thought I would be leaving the party so soon, but the DNC chair actually called me out. He attacked me personally. This could have gone so many different ways. He could have called me. These people have my number. They could have just called me. They could have talked to me personally. No, he sicked his far left influencers on me. They defamed me. And I just want to say one thing, right? The party of DEI, like kumbaya, racial justice warriors, all of a sudden, because I dare to criticize their queen, Kamala, I'm now a Chinese spy. I'm a spy for the regime that murdered my family.
Yeah, like I will say, I don't accept, like I already said this, I do not accept people attack. There's a lot of things to attack Lindy Leon and her character, but I don't, yeah.
Cold blood.
Trump. The Cuban personally on a street with a number of Cubans, right? A couple of Black Americans, and they're my friends. And they support Trump. The Cuban population down here supports Trump like crazy. But there is this real unbelievable undertone of sick racism that is always emanates from the left. in their DMs whenever they post something nice about Trump, from Hispanic populations, also from from Black Americans, that like I mean, I'm telling you, like the abuse to these individuals who are Black.
Makeup, is that what I see? No, I see make me up, Sarah. Make me up. Resubscribe to Amazon Prime. It's been subscribed for 2 months. You do get a free sub with Amazon Prime. I appreciate you so fucking much. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Love being in your community. I love you. Thank you for being here. I'm getting there. I'm feeling better these days. Or just the last day or two, I'm feeling better. So I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Sorry, I missed an M there. No one hey Chris, do you know that no one believes what you've been saying since the golden man Biden and his golden women hacking Kamala left? Okay. Hey Rock, do you know that you should learn how to spell and I don't know, read and write?
Black and support Trump, or who are Hispanic and support Trump, you should go check their DMs. You go open up their phone. It is hideous and it is unspeakable, and it comes from the left. And it really, you're right. It does bubble right up under the surface as soon as you go against the party.
It's more treacherous because they pretend to be good people. It's just unbelievable. And oh man, and you saw this past weekend, they had their woke fest. They didn't learn a single thing. They didn't learn a damn thing. They reelected 50% of their leadership, and their DNC vice chair wants to abolish ICE. Yeah, okay, that's a great idea.
David Hogg.
Exactly. He's skinnier than I am, which says a lot, but and then he wants to defund the police. Come on. And I'm speaking as a naturalized immigrant, by the way. My family and I came here the right way. That is the way it should be. No one should be jumping the line or storming the southern border. Why is it suddenly racist? So it's racist to say that, but it's not racist to call me a Chinese spy and a cunt and a whore and everything. I'm sorry if they call me everything under the sun. If you know anything about me, you would know I'm the most, in terms of like morals, I'm the most boring person ever. I don't even drink alcohol. I'm like a Christian conservative. That's how I grew up. Like, for them to call me things, it's just so despicable and so off base.
I'd like to say it's unbelievable. Everything from the lawfare threats to the name calling, but I've seen it for the better part of the last decade, and I've seen this in behavior, and we've been covering it. So it actually isn't unbelievable. It's actually very in line with a party that has become quite pagan. And become quite filled with hate and anger.
And they have so much hatred and anger towards religion itself. You know, they call God Sky Daddy. All right.
Okay, so again, we're a little buzzwordy here. Joe Biden's a Catholic who goes to church every Sunday. Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that. It's just everything, and I think the reason why they care so much about their party and they want to destroy anyone who dares criticize them is that the Democratic Party for them is their temple. It's their religion. They have no other religion. This is it. The DNC is their sanctuary. So anyone who dares to chip away at that temple must be annihilated. And unfortunately, they're trying to do that to me, but it's just, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it was something that we often talk about on this channel, is that these people need to find God, and they need to stop assuming that Barack Obama is God or Kamala Harris, right, is queen. And you're going to be very, very disappointed if you try and impart upon a corrupt political party the nature of God, or use that as your church. You're gonna have a very miserable life.
Benny, I couldn't agree more. And I've been wearing this necklace for 15 years. It's kind of my way of being myself in a party that's not anything like me. I've been through, regardless it's raining, I wear it everywhere I go, and it's just my way of holding on to my faith. And this whole ordeal has strengthened my faith.
It's across.
It's across. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
Yep. Can see.
In every photo, you can see it going back like more than a decade. It's just, this is me.
So, listening to you talk now, I just couldn't imagine what the 2024 election was like for you. Can we go through a couple of top line items that I just
whatever you
ask?
need.
Yeah.
I'm not protecting anybody anymore.
Multiple celebrities have come forward saying that they were never paid anything by the DNC for their endorsements. Everyone from Beyonce to Oprah to Cardi B. We have a supercut actually of every one of them claiming I didn't, get paid. Is that true?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Benny, come on. Like, this is just, all of them have production companies. So the money goes to their companies, but who owns the companies? They do. And Oprah is the most obvious example. But yeah, every one of them was reimbursed. You know what they could have done? These people are millionaires or billionaires. They could have paid for those quote unquote production costs out of their own pocket. But no, they took money from the American people, hardworking Americans. And the Democratic Party was basically grifting off everyday Americans through $10 to $15 donations, sometimes recurring through Act Blue, which has obviously been under a cloud of misconduct as well. It's just, if Oprah really cared so much about Kamala Harris, why couldn't she just pay for the production costs and the salaries herself instead of taking $2 million from the campaign?
So this video right here of Lizzo on a private jet, getting on a very expensive private jet here. Was this paid for by the DNC? Was this paid for with donor dollars?
Was this March 28th? Do you know the date on here? Is it around March 28th? Oh, okay. Interesting.
October. This is when Lizzo went and did an event with Kamala Harris.
Because she also did an event for Joe Biden on March 28th. I was there. And so I'm wondering, I think, she might have been paid twice for both times. But a lot of the money, you bring up a really good point, right? They talk about how they're the party working people. So much of that money went to 5-star hotels, to private jets, to fancy restaurants, to all this stuff.
Hey, well, how do you, there's no substance, no proof. Okay, dude, I don't think, Lindy, you had no knowledge of if DNC money was being given to people to fly private jets. You're a fundraiser and a strategist. And you did great work for the DNC. But the DNC was not, how would you have any knowledge of what you're claiming to have knowledge of? If the DNC was paying for someone's private jet, which they weren't, if they were, why would you know that? You're doing consulting calls and you're calling donors. No, you don't have that information. What? Oh my God. This is crazy.
So how is it supposed to resonate with American people?
She's already incredibly rich. Oprah's a billionaire. Oprah's worth $4 billion. There's no reason why Oprah needs, and we can put up the actual receipts here. You can see the payments. It's millions of dollars that was paid to Oprah.
There's actually $1 million missing here.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's.
They paid $2.5 million. The DNC paid the campaign paid two $500,000 payments on October 15th to Harpo Productions. Harpo Productions. It's a multimedia company production founded by Oprah Winfrey in '86, based in Chicago, Illinois. And they host these shows. It's giving Valid Media. It's Oprah spelled backwards. I didn't realize that. So wait, I'm not understanding now. Is the claim? What's the claim? I thought we were talking about Lizzo, or were we talking about? We talking about Oprah on the chat?
It's supposed to be 2 million. I'm not. Yeah, it's more than this.
I know that these can be incomplete.
Yeah, or maybe, it takes a while for the FEC to reflect, all the payments, but
yeah, the reporting was that it was around $2.5 million that went to Oprah, who again is already a billionaire. She's a billionaire 4 times.
But what is it? I think Oprah was being paid for the production set, no? Oprah, Kamala Harris. Because again, like I don't think Oprah Winfrey or any of these people need $1 million from the DNC. I think we're talking about, let's see, to a production company, was paid to endorse, blah, 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 received $1 million. Not true, I was never paid. Commenting on the video, she explained that her company, Productions, was paid for its work, helping produce Unite a live stream rally on the 19th. Oprah Winfrey, Chris Rock, and other celebs. So this, I remember watching this actually. I remember reacting to this on Twitch. This rally where they had all the, so again, we need to understand what the claim is. Okay, I don't think Oprah Winfrey herself needs to be paid to endorse Kamala Harris. What does need to be paid for is the work and all of the people and the production and the set to produce this episode. So yeah, I mean, I don't really, what are we talking about here? They're all paid, they're flying on private jets, and then you show an FEC filing of $1 million being paid to a production company that she has to produce episodes for shows, and those have to get paid for somehow. And if it's a special with a special set, and you have all these, they have all these video productions. They had, Kamala Harris herself come on, and then they had, they had multiple different, celebrity people on Zoom. There's somebody who has to work to do all that. There's a set that has to be set up for it. There's security that has to be paid for. So it's I don't know what do we start with a claim of people are getting paid to fly on private jets, and we're ending with a claim of that. I don't know, it just makes no sense, bro.
Time's over. And that really does beg the question, is this all a grift? Right?
Yes, Jess, exactly. But they prefer Dems don't compensate people for their production services. Right. It's the people who claim to care so much about capitalism, it's okay, if the DNC is we want to do a show with Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah Winfrey's well, I have to produce a show. So I'll do that for you because I like Kamala Harris, but why don't you pay for the production? Great. What? What is, I don't understand, bro.
Oh, it absolutely is. I want everyone to know that the campaign raised about $1 billion. The super PAC raised about $1 billion, $2.5 billion in total. Half of the $1 billion that went to the campaign just went to 4 well-connected Democratic firms, including, as we all know, Bully Pulpit International. And who runs these firms? It's Obama World and the consultants. It's the same group of people. They fail upwards. They move from one campaign to the next, and they make so much money. A lot of these people, I don't want to name, I've had enough abuse for the day, but there are certain really well-known Obama figures who are on their 3rd mansion in Malibu, California. It doesn't take a lot of research to figure out who I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, for all the terrible, awful takes of someone with no principle, potentially no principle, I've been someone to talk openly about the consulting, money flow in Democrats. It's just wildly fucking broken, and a lot of the people that have been there forever need to, be pushed out, because not only are they bad at but they're just not great at what they. I don't know any of these people personally. I'm just saying, in general, the DNC at the top, I'm gonna go ahead and need to rebuild that. So, okay.
Talking about. These people have gotten so rich, and it doesn't matter. I want people to understand it doesn't matter if Kamala wins or not. They still make a killing. In fact, they might even make more. I remember here in Philadelphia, 2 weeks before, I haven't said this on here yet, but 2 weeks before the election, we had a dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. Governor Shapiro was the keynote speaker. This has nothing to do with him. He was fine. But Kamala Harris campaign staffers were telling us that we would win 3 to 4 battleground states, that we were poised to win. We learned after the election that all that was just a lie, because apparently their internal polling never had her up. So
It's okay. All right. First of all, Madison, thanks so much for gifting a tier 1 sub to, I believe, Tatiana. Huge chubbies in the chat for Madison goes a really long way. I'm now showing that we're at 601 subscribers, even though I think we were at, pretty sure we're at like 625 because we had I think my thing's glitching, unfortunately. Yeah, because this says we have 591. So Twitch is breaking a little bit, but I think that puts us right around 630 subscribers, which is absolutely insane and goes such a long way. No, I did refresh it. It's just broken. Oh, and by the way, Stern, thank you so much for cheering 50 bits. Goes a really long way. You rock. I'm sorry. Tani on it. Oh wait, yeah, I did mispronounce your name. First of all, yes, Kayla, I thank you for. I wasn't trying to sound rude there. I was trying to Tanya. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Tanya, Chris can read and write, do things. Tanya. Yeah, the T is before or after the I. I swear to God, I'm sorry. I really appreciate you, Tanya. Seriously, W's. That's right, Kayla. That's right. I have a way with names. I have a way with many things. Many people say.
they were telling donors a different story. They were milking us for every single penny. Not for Kamala, not for the American people, but for themselves.
So they were lying to donors to ultimately line their pockets, because if you think it's going to be a very close race and it's just, we're just inches away, then you're going to donate more, and that gives more.
Yeah, I do want to point out that it was the third closest election since 1888 in American history. It was one of the closest elections ever. So yeah, it would make sense if the DNC was like, hey, really, really, really close here, every dollar counts. Because it was super fucking close. It was really, really fucking close. We lost the 3 blue wall states by less than 250,000 votes total. That's crazy.
More money to the consultants. Every dollar donated, I mean, I've lived in DC, I know how this works. Every dollar donated, very little of it actually goes to the actual ad or to the yard sign or the door knocker. A lot of it is pocketed along the way by corrupt political institutions.
Exactly. And I want everyone to know, in case they don't know, that the best way to get rich, the fastest way, is to befriend one of these candidates and work for a TV ad firm. They make so much money. Candidates spend hundreds of millions of dollars on these TV ads, and who gets a substantial portion? Not you or me. The TV ad consultants who happen to be friends with the candidate. They make so much money. And often their ads are so shitty, and where they should be putting up the ads, they don't. Kamala Harris should have responded to the trans ad. The one that.
Okay, dude, again, they've already spoken on this extensively, and their take is good. It's a good take. As much as I agree that there was missteps in the Democrat Party, I've talked about that enough. Yeah, dude, there's practically less than 100 days. Okay, you have a set of things that you need to get out to the American people, and what's supposed to be what was supposed to be the closest election of all time, and it practically was. And the campaign spoke on this openly. They said, look, we debated about responding, and we made the decision that the other things we had set out were more important, and we only had so much time. Every second counts. We can't do everything we want to do, so we need to pick the most important things, and that's what they did from the beginning. And so I can say now with full confidence, and they can too, Well, maybe they can. Maybe they need to be more open about it. Madison, thank you for gifting another 1 month sub. Huge W's, Madison. I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart, truly. W's for Madison in chat. Again, if you like, in hindsight's 2020, but you can't talk about everything you want to talk about. And now we know that ad that she's referring to, the most effective ad of the cycle. Democrats should have responded. Democrats in general need to just do a better job responding to attacks overall, right? We all talk about how we need Democrats to punch a little harder sometimes. But like, what are we talking about? What are we doing up here? If that's none of this has been any. Again, none of this has been someone who works inside the DNC coming out and shattering every norm. Everything that we have heard up here has been public knowledge or is buzzwords that Republicans already use. So it's like, what are we really like? What are we doing here? We said communist, buzzword. Look at these reports from the FEC that we had articles about in September. Her not providing any detail and just saying, "Oh yeah, they got paid for that." No substance there. No, nothing there. We already were she didn't say anything different than this USA Today article for fucking September. And now it's like, oh, well, they should have responded to the ad. It's like, what the fuck? We've all been talking about all of this for months. Like, what is, I don't understand what, like, the coming out, like, what's different? Again, is it like, I just wish there was more substance. At least I could, if Lindy Lee really felt like there was problems within the Democrat Party and wanted to be open about it, felt like she could only be open about it on the talk shows, at least I'd have like a little bit of respect for that. But it's like, I just keep watching these and I'm like, you're not saying anything. You're just using a bunch of buzzwords. And it's like, it makes me more convinced there's no principle. Ash, what's going on?
It alleges that she funds gender reassignment surgery for prisoners. Who wants a president who funds that? I certainly don't. But they didn't respond to that.
Trump funded the same surgeries during his first administration.
It was political malpractice, but it also points to the trans insanity. That's a whole.
It was political malpractice. I'm sorry. Again, I have spoken on videos about the deep issues that the DNC or the Harris campaign had and a perception of America. Even one thing within this episode is that I think that the DNC's use of celebrities came back to bite them in the way that, again, we're already not resonating with the working class, and we think that 30 or 50 days before an election we should have like every celebrity ever, and it's like, all right, this is becoming too glitzy and glam. And I actually understand, like I somewhat agree with that and understand that perspective. We also heard a lot of talk. I was at the DNC in Chicago, and there was a lot of talk, and I can speak on this because I was one of the 200 creators that was invited to go to the DNC, which I was super grateful for. There was a lot of talk publicly about the glitz and the glam of that, of like we had a creator lounge that had, it was super nice, right? Food and drinks and braised rib that was cooked by a chef and like great stuff. And there was some conversation around like, what do we really, even like a staff, there's one staffer in particular who came out and said like, I felt really uncomfortable because it just felt like a contest for glitz and glam. And I think that I actually in some ways agree with that. Although there is some argument that you have to show that you're treating content creators, understand the worth of content creators, which they showed, and I like. And that's important. You have to get it out, get all these things out to the American public, which is good. But at the same time, if you do it in a way that is very glitz and glam with the celebrities, we're out of touch, right? And so, like, even in that, at least, like, even if I disagree with certain aspects on it, I agree with some of them, and I can have a conversation about it, and I can respect you for having it. But it's like, that is an actual problem that we can look back at now and say we should have done something differently. That's something of substance. Saying that the Democrat Party is like the communists and we're woke bullshit is like, it's not saying anything. Like, there's no principle here. You're just trying to like get on the shows. It's like, I don't know. It's my take. Katie, thank you. Oh my goodness. Katie, gifting 5 community subs. I appreciate you from the bottom of my fucking heart. Thank you so much, Katie. Holy shit. Huge, huge, huge W's for Katie in the chat. And Jess, subscribe for a month at tier 1. I appreciate you so fucking much, Jess. Thank you. Christina, hello. Jess, I appreciate you so much. Jess, I appreciate you. W's for Jess for subscribing. Again, it really goes a long way. Nar, good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Katie, again, thank you so much for 5 community subs. It goes a really, really fucking long way. Surely you rock. Really means a lot. It means so much. It means so much. I don't know, dude. This is Ria, I appreciate you.
Topic, but yeah, it's just.
So you're saying that the Kamala, I mean, are you saying, was it all fake? I mean, I guess you have to take a step back and say, was like Joe Biden dropping out, was this just about fleecing Democrat donors for more money? Because with Kamala, you could probably raise more money and pump some excitement in. Like, was it all fake? They knew they knew you were going to lose. They knew it was going to be a lost cause. So it was just about like hoovering up cash and stealing more money from Democrat donors.
Denny, let me just say, on July 13th, that was the day, right? In Butler.
Yeah.
On July 13th, I was getting texts from people around the country.
Guys, show some love to Katie in the chat. I'm sorry you're feeling crabby. I appreciate you so much. It goes such a long way. Everyone, show some love for Katie in the chat. Tell her you love her. Tell her you love her. Also, interesting that, like, again, like the Democrat donors who spent the money, the multiple of them are like coming together with like a new game plan and ready to like spend money and like figure it out and you know, understand more about like the media dynamic. And like, again, the only people, like, some of the people who are saying like, oh, we're just going to fleece Democrat donors to enrich ourselves are like the people who were not a part of that process. It's like, okay. Like, if like, I'm just like, okay.
The election's over. Trump essentially wins. Like, how do you beat someone like that? The way that he handled the assassination attempt was just, it was just majestic. It was like picture perfect. So after that point, I think it's just like the guy became almost like mythical. You can't beat him. But in terms of Biden, the money just dried up. I remember just sitting on my sofa and talking to staffers. They had nothing to do because the donors completely closed their wallets. Wow. But with Harris, the spigot turned back on. It was much easier. Just to give you a reference point, it took me a year to raise $1 million for Biden. A year. That's a really long time. It took me days to raise several millions for her. Wow. So it was, the delta between the two was substantial.
So it was a total grift. And did you ever get, did you ever get a read that, like, you know, this was all fake, right? That we're paying celebrities. Who's the #1 paid celebrity? Do you know? Do you have access to that?
The thing is, we didn't know any of this before Election Day. We weren't privy to the reports. They kept it from us. You think that we would be giving money if we knew our money was wasted like this? My parents gave. My family owned real estate. We donated a church. My family's Christian, so we have a church. We wouldn't have done any of that had we known that the money would be spent this way. Wow. So people ask why I didn't bring it up earlier. How could I possibly know? I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that they would be dispersing our hard-earned money this way. It didn't even occur to me that celebrities who, you know, these weren't endorsements. They were essentially paid ads. It wasn't from the kindness of their hearts.
Beyonce, was it $10 million? I think.
And she didn't even sing. I'm sorry, that's such a huge letdown. And you saw that Kamala Harris was booed afterwards. The same thing happened to the DNC months before, and they didn't learn a thing. You know, you can't trot Beyonce out or pretend that you're going to have her if she doesn't perform. We don't really care about her speech, with all due.
That didn't happen at the DNC. What is she talking about? What? What?
Respect. I mean, do you want to hear her pontificate?
No.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear any celebrity. I certainly don't want to hear what Eminem has to say, right? To support Liz Cheney.
Trump is a fucking celebrity, dude. Like, the hypocrisy of all this just fucking reeks.
It's like utterly fraud.
They're all enriching themselves. They don't care about the American public. So I'm going to go support the guy selling Bibles. and selling cryptocurrencies and Mar-a-Lago, every burger is stamped with Trump and selling merch and all of those things has a direct financial incentive. Like it just like fucking reeks, dude. It's like, and again, like we're not, there's nothing of substance. It's all just blah, 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 woke fucking bullshit. They don't care. They're scamming us. So that's why I love Trump. What? At least if your perspective was that, again, if we're talking about principle, if that is your perspective, that at least Republicans are raw about it and Democrats are not, they lie about it apparently, and they do all this shady shit. At least if that's your perspective, I'm like, I'm no longer a Democrat because they do horrible fucking shit in my mind. And Trump, you know, they just do it behind the shadow, which makes me more angry. But Donald Trump does the same shit, so fuck all of this. I hate all of you. We need to vote for a third party. At least that would show some principle. But it's like, what the fuck?
Fraudulent. The entire thing's just been broken. So what you're saying is all these celebrities, from Lizzo to Eminem to Cardi B to Beyonce and Oprah, that they're all frauds and that they didn't actually believe any of this. They were just being paid to dance like a puppet.
All you need to know, all you need to look at is Obama yucking it up with Trump like they were best friends at Jimmy Carter's funeral. The same dude who's railing against him on the stage just days before, weeks before. That's all you need to know.
No, that's right, guys. We wanted Obama in his assigned seat next to Trump at a funeral to fist fight Donald Trump. I mean, again, like this is, Benny is asking as a direct question, some insider information that Lindy Lee could possibly know to blow the whole thing up. She doesn't respond. I don't have any proof for that. But what you do need to know is think about this super buzzwordy stuff that Republicans are talking about with no substance and communism woke buzzword. Like this is this is the exact Republican talking point. If he's such a threat to democracy, why was Obama chopping him up? What do you want Obama to do? Punch him? Obama's sitting in an assigned seat next to Donald Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral. And what do you want him to do? Make a scene? Take away, have all the media attention on Obama and Trump as opposed to Jimmy Carter's legacy? That's what you want? Like, what did these, some of these people don't fucking live in reality. It's like they think that like, and again, I'm going to sound ultra fucking establishment here. But like, let's just back up a second. Politicians do adhere to social norms, believe it or not. So like, Barack Obama is, if he's going to a funeral, is probably going to act in accordance to being in a funeral. The seats are pre-assigned, and he's sitting next to Trump. So he thinks he's a threat to democracy, so Barack Obama is going to come in and punch him. And he's going to save the world. Like, what the fuck is the expectation? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Yeah, dude, he's going to laugh with Trump. He's going to talk to him for a second, and then he's going to pay attention to the funeral and leave. Okay? Like, I think Donald Trump, I think a lot of Republicans are fucking a threat to, are causing the directly harming America in many ways. If I met a Republican, an elected Republican official and sat down and started yelling at him or debating him, what do you, and then I left, or are people going to be mad because I didn't fucking fist fight him? What do you want me to do? Ugh, so stupid.
The same guy who he called a all sorts of names, like the end of democracy, an existential threat. And next thing you know, they're like chummy.
The only person who said that about Trump was all of the people from his first administration. The people, the guy who served in the military for 44 and a half years, his top military general. I'm glad two people who have like never served our country are talking about all the bullshit, the risk to fascism. But no, let's not listen to like Donald Trump's top generals or any of the people who actually risked their life for this fucking country who are, yelling about this. That's fine.
And according to the lip readers, Obama, first thing he says is, "I knew you'd win." So it backs up perfectly what you're saying. It backs up exactly what you're saying.
Benny,
No one said that.
I felt like I was going through the motions towards the end of the campaign and just hoping that, I can't believe I'm articulating this, but given everything that's happened to me this past year, I was hoping that conservatives would win. And I felt this is the result that I wanted. Now I feel liberated for the first time in my life to just tell the truth, that men are men, women are women, that men shouldn't play women's sports, that DEI and woke are just
like, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, after what's happened, I guess there really is no argument. They've lost so much credibility, and in the Lindy, in the words of Jill Biden, you answered every question.
I knew all the answers.
Maybe would it be disrespect in the
public? You are amazing. I did such a great job.
This is why we do this for all of our guests on the stream. You answered every question.
I agree with a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's just this is I feel free for the first time in my life. I mean,
I think we've heard enough. Again, the point being is, like, you can't, like, even if you want to have any type of reasonable conversation around any of what she said, around where money's going in politics. Yeah, it's politics and money's pretty ugly, right? Right? Even if you want to have a conversation around any of those things, like, there's nothing that she said that has not already publicly been talked about for a long time. So again, it raises the question of, like, the DNC insider Lindy Lee flips her stance, flips on the Democrats, and it's like there's nothing. I'm not hearing anything that it automatically will make you question the principle. It's not Democrats are spending money wildly and don't care about the American people, but neither does Trump, because that's what I've been saying for years. So therefore, third party. It's not let's go write an entire letter about all the terrible, just a scathing thing about Democrats. I still dislike Trump. I like some of the things Democrats stand for, but they're hypocritical, scathing op-ed. It's neither of those things. It's we're going to go on top. We're going to go on shows and use every buzzword imaginable and not say anything that Republicans haven't already been saying. What we've heard from this episode, we heard Democrats and their woke, quote, their wokeism, their bullshit, they're attacking me. It reminds me of the Communist Party. Okay, those three things have probably been said on Fox News by every person ever, okay? And then we move to, like, look at where the money's flowing in the DNC. Oprah Winfrey is getting paid, her thing is getting paid $1 million. That's been a topic of discussions that's fucking, I don't even know, whenever this article was written, or the one before this, a campaign finance record show, production company, and then Oprah Winfrey talked about it, December 7th, right? Okay. So it's like, and again, those claims of this have been fucking, we can have a conversation about money in politics. I don't know what's new about any of this. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Wokeism buzzword. The border's wide open. Joe Biden is incompetent. Buzzword, buzzword. That's why I'm now working with Trump. And I'm raising money for Trump's inaugural fund. What? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't know what principles we have in politics. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And again, when you're asked, when she's being asked, like, direct questions about, like, where did this funding, are you saying that celebrities got paid? She won't answer because she doesn't know. The answer is the answer is that the strategist, if Lindy Lee is raising money for Democrats, talking to donors, and a strategist, she has no private knowledge at the DNC of where this money's going. So when she's being asked directly, did celebrities get paid to be at these events? She is not answering the question. What celebrity was paid the most? All you need to know is, look at Obama and Trump chopping it up. She's asked, look at this. Did they get paid for the private jets? She says, was that in March? He says, no, this was in October. She says, well, maybe she got paid twice. That's an interesting way to not say yes. Like, I don't know, dude. It's like Lindy Lee is so nice. I just don't get it, man. But again, I just don't think those are any reasonable criticisms of Democrats. And it just is. We live in a society. And I've not publicly spoken about this. The first time I've done this. Lindy Lee does her thing. I just don't. This is my take. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Anyways, folks, 7:58 p.m. Eastern would be the time. And so, Jesus, I look disheveled. Probably because I keep putting my hands in my hair. I love all of you. It was a very fun stream today, and we get a lot of support. Kayla, I love you. You're amazing. Don't worry, we're gonna make some TikTok videos and go live on TikTok probably. You guys are absolutely incredible in so many ways. I love and appreciate you so much and your support. It truly, truly, truly fucking means the world to me. From the bottom of my heart. Can I get a W in the chat? Well, first of all, to everybody, the gifters, the people who just in the comments, just people watching, all of you. Even if you're a silent watcher, I love you and you mean a lot to me. I never take any of this for granted. Also, can I get a million W's in the chat for our mod team and the people working on the Discord? They are amazing. They work so hard. They make so much of this possible. I love all of you. I appreciate you guys all. All right. We'll be on TikTok live a bit later. I'm probably gonna post a few videos. Chris, don't forget to drink some water. I've been drinking actually a lot of water during the stream, which is good. I need to go to the gym and I need to eat. That's what I'm gonna go do. W water. That's right, Kate. It's good for you, Kate. It's good to see you. Ali, I love all of you. Emily, proud of you. I do need a sun lamp for Uriah. Alejandra, I appreciate you being here. You fucking rock. That aura ring looks very nice on you. Makeup, Sarah. Make me up, Sarah says. I appreciate you. Yeah, I like it. It's nice. I don't know what I'm gonna grab for food. Maybe I'll cook. We'll see. Gabby water bottle is a W. So yeah. Be on TikTok live later. Go post some videos. Be safe, everyone. Be easy. We'll see, Kayla. We'll see. Sarah, that's right. I could say Sarah, you rock. Any inspirational words? You know what they say. I don't know if I have any new inspirational words to say today. Just remember, just enjoy your weekend. You deserve a weekend to go do something fun with your friends. And remember, it's not the fear of failure that's holding you back. It's the fear of the things that you have to give up for success. Enjoy, Kayla. All right. I love you all. You're amazing. I'm leaving now. We'll be on Twitch. We'll definitely be on Twitch sometime this weekend, either playing video games or cooking. But the next Twitch stream is Monday, and I will change the schedule on Twitch. All right? Cool. See you guys later. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, etc.